Welcome, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk. And man, oh man, do we have a lot to talk about today, but there's a lot to talk about every day with Trump back, isn't there? Oh man. Of course, we're going to talk a lot about what's going on in President Trump's interview with 60 Minutes and the New York City election, and a whole bunch of other things, okay, are going on in the program, and your calls are welcome. If you're new, make sure that you subscribe on whatever platform you're listening on. And the calls that I take are live. They are screenless and unvetted. When you call in, I just put you on hold, and nobody answers the phone. You just get put on hold, and then when you hear me come in and say, "What's your name? Where are you calling from?" That means you're on the air, right? I'll say, "You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?" That's the first time I know who's on the line when you answer that question. So we're just going to jump right into it. I got a lot to cover. You know, the government shutdown continues, and you know the Democrats. It's amazing to me how the Democrats think that the American people are completely stupid. They know that they are responsible for the shutdown. We've been voting. The Republicans have been voting over and over. I've lost track. How many times have the Republicans voted to get this passed? We vote 100% every time. We need 5 Democrats to get us to the 60, and none of them will cross over, and they're blaming us for the shutdown. Are you kidding? Presley, who a few years ago just decided to stop with the wigs and everything, and she goes bald all the time. She kind of reminds me of Ilea from Star Trek The Motion Picture. Do you guys remember Ilea from Star Trek The Motion Picture? Okay, whatever. But here she is talking about, on MSNBC over the weekend, talking about the food stamps.
First and foremost, this is the most corrupt administration in history. And then they're cruel enough to create work requirements for hungry people to get SNAP. But first and foremost, this is...
Okay, I'm forgetting about the most corrupt administration. That's so stupid. But Presley, like many Democrats, are always complaining about the work requirement to get the food stamps, the SNAP, the EBT.
The most corrupt administration in history. And then they're cruel enough to create work requirements for hungry people to get SNAP.
Okay. Now, some of you in this audience may have been born wealthy or with enough money where you don't have to worry, but you know, I have a work requirement to eat. I have a work requirement to eat, a work requirement to have electricity, a work requirement to have water, a work requirement to have a roof over my head, and by the way, provide all these things for my family. It's called working, like I'm doing right now. And I know most of you that are listening to my voice right now or watching me online, you have a work requirement to eat too. So why is it those that are receiving SNAP, EBT, food stamps, whatever they're calling it these days, why do Democrats think they shouldn't have a work requirement to eat? Right? I don't understand this. Now, President Trump was born without a work requirement. He was born wealthy. He was earning over $200,000 a year when he was 2 from his father's company. But he worked and he made himself a billionaire many times over and president. But most people aren't born into wealth like that. Bobby Kennedy, he was born without a work requirement because he's got that Kennedy Trust Fund. But how many of you that are watching me right now, how many of you have a work requirement to eat? So why should people that are receiving food stamps not have a work requirement too, if they are able to work? Now, I understand there are people out there that for whatever reason cannot work. Maybe they're elderly, maybe they're disabled. I mean, there's all kinds of reasons. But my guess is most people that are receiving food stamp benefits, EBT, SNAP, can do some type of work, right? Yeah. So I just don't get this. Why do they not have a work requirement? Like if I don't have money, how am I going to buy food? How am I going to pay for my house. My HOA would repossess my house faster than the bank if I didn't pay my HOA dues. My car would be repossessed. I have a work requirement to have a car. I've got to be able to make the payment, right? You know, I used to live, before I lived in this house, my wife and I had a condo. And in our HOA fees, the water was included. And when we first moved to this house, I missed paying the water bill because I just forgot. I had never had a water bill before, and I forgot. You know what happened? They turned it off. I had to pay it. So, you know, they'll actually shut the water coming into my house. I have a work requirement for water to come into my house. Holy smokes. But people that get EBT, they should not have a work requirement. Now again, I know there's some people out there that are elderly and disabled, right? Maybe confined to a wheelchair, like some of these wounded warriors I see on television. Maybe they don't have any arms or legs. I get that. But most of these SNAP people that I've seen online, they're able-bodied to work. They just don't want to. So can someone explain to me, and I'm serious about this, why people that receive EBT, Democrats believe shouldn't have a work requirement, but I have a work requirement. And I know most everybody in this audience has a work requirement too. So these are things I just don't understand. The number, by the way, is toll free, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. If you're watching live, the toll-free call-in number is pinned in the live chat. It's toll-free no matter where you are tuned in from. So President Trump did this great interview on 60 Minutes. And now again, you know, these lefties, they still tell you the economy's doing poorly. I don't know what world they're in. Here's President Trump. This was a great interview on 60 Minutes. I'm going to go through quite a bit of it today. We'll talk about it. But here's the president talking about the American economy.
Perfect timing for your show. Just hit an all-time high. We're doing really well.
Can I ask you, Mr. President, on that point, though, when the stock market is doing well, that doesn't affect everybody. Not everybody's invested in the stock market.
It does.
But there have been grocery prices
are up. 401ks. People have 401ks. Their 401ks are double what they were a year ago.
But for people that don't have 401ks or are not invested in the stock market,
but
they've seen their grocery prices go up, inflation.
No, you're wrong. They went up under Biden. Right now, they're going down, other than beef, which we're working on, which we can sell very quickly.
Okay. So, yeah, you know, this thing that Norah O'Donnell, by the way, I haven't seen Norah O'Donnell in years. I haven't watched, the only time I watch 60 Minutes is when Trump is on it. Okay, so I don't watch 60 Minutes. I watched, this may be the first time I watched 60 Minutes since that Leslie Stahl interview at the end of the first term. But, you know, when she says that the stock market doing well doesn't affect everyone, of course it does. It affects everyone. You know, I don't have a 401k and I don't have money in the stock market. The stock market and 401k is not for me. Okay, I got other things going on that are none of your business. But I don't have either of those. But I understand this, that people that are invested in the stock market, when they're making money, what do people do when they have money? You know what they do? They spend it. That's right. They spend it. And even if you are a cashier at a store at a mall, if there's a mall near you that's not a rundown, closed down mall, the stock market, the economy doing well benefits you because more people are coming into that store to buy things, and that means you get more hours. So the stock market doing well benefits everyone in the United States. And I would think Norah O'Donnell knows that. I think she just hates Trump, and there's nothing that Trump can say or do that she's going to agree with. But yeah, you don't have to, you don't have to have money in the stock market to benefit from the stock market doing well. So the interview was very good. I'm going to go through it as the show goes on today. And President Trump actually endorsed Zohran Mamdani's opponent, Cuomo. I trick you there? Do you think I said he introduced Zohran? No. He endorsed Zohran Mamdani's opponent, Cuomo. And, this is a crazy thing because Cuomo is a bad, bad guy, okay? What he was doing during the shutdown, lockdown periods is really unforgivable. However, what Zohran represents is so bad that it just can't be allowed. And, I was talking about this on my podcast yesterday afternoon, which I live stream right here. And, I'm just looking at the clock to see when we're going to be on the radio. We got about 25 minutes until the radio show starts. So somebody in the chat room said, stock markets affect only a few, 90% 401k, blah, 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 blah. Trickle-down economics. Who said that? Lucky Brooklyn 13? I think you should change your name from Lucky Brooklyn 13 to Stupid Brooklyn 13. Trickle-down economics that Ronald Reagan talked about. Trickle-down economics is capitalism, right? When the stock market is doing well and people have more money that are invested in it, have more money in their pocket and bank accounts, they spend money and buy things, and it trickles all the way down to even the bums on the street begging for money, okay? I'm not going to go through basic economic theory, but I think that sums it up enough. But anyway, as bad as Cuomo was as governor and the god-awful, unforgivable things that he did, having that monster as mayor of New York is better than having Zohran as mayor of New York. Okay, it's going to be a disaster. It's going to be a disaster pretty quick in the city. By the way, if you disagree with anything I'm saying, that's what the phone number's for. And if you're on hold, hang in there. It's going to be a disaster immediately for the people of New York City. There's no doubt about it. Crime, the economy, it's all going to collapse. But the big elephant in the room is the Islamification of New York City through Zohran Mamdani, who for the last 10 days or so has had an everyday bad news story, right? There has not been one positive news story about Zohran in the past 10 days or so, maybe even 2 weeks. The momentum is going against him. And while there's no way to predict how this race is going to come out, he's not a slam dunk victor. I know they keep telling you that, and no one wants to make a prediction, and I'm not even going to make a prediction. I think it's too close to call. I think these guys, right now, this is a horse race. And we may find out when the votes come in tomorrow that it's a landslide victory for Cuomo. If it wasn't for Curtis Sliwa, we'd have it locked up. But you know what? Even leading Democrats believe that Zohran has a good chance of either failing if he becomes mayor or losing because none of the prominent Democrats have endorsed him. Hakeem Jeffries, Chuck Schumer, Barack Obama, none of them have endorsed him. Okay? In fact, the phone call that they've been talking about where he got a call from Obama, that was not an endorsement. It was just a phone call, right? You guys call me. Is that an endorsement for me, in my opinion? I don't think so. Hakeem Jeffries said that Zohan's not the future of the Democrat Party, and he hasn't endorsed him either. So here's a reporter on the street going up to Zohran and asking him about this thing with Hakeem Jeffries.
Hakeem Jeffries was asked this morning if you're the future of the Democratic Party. He said no.
Good to know.
Do you have a response?
No, I'm focused on the next 2 days.
Boy, he just smiles like an idiot no matter what you say to him, right? And I guess that's when Mommy gives him his participation trophies. Every time he was growing up, he'd smile, he'd get a participation trophy.
Hakeem Jeffries was asked this morning if you're the future of the Democratic Party. He said no.
Good to know.
Do you have a response?
No, I'm focused on the next 2 days.
Do you think you're the future of the Democratic Party?
I don't dare predict the future. That's why I'm out here canvassing to deal with my anxiety to get through the tape of the future of 9 p.m. on Tuesday.
Wow, he's got anxiety. I've never heard a candidate say they have anxiety. See, didn't I tell you guys a week ago? I told you guys last Monday when the early voting started, they had record high early voting turnout throughout the entire early voting period, and 60% of the early voters were Gen X and baby boomers, 50 and above. And Zohran did a number of things after that, and I told you that you could tell he's having a panic attack, an anxiety attack. I even said anxiety attack. And here is Zohran confessing on the street somewhere in New York that he is dealing with anxiety. What a weakling. Why? Because he may not get his way? What kind of thing is that to say? If he can't handle this, how could he handle the stresses of being mayor?
Hakeem Jeffries was asked this morning if you're the future of the Democratic Party. He said no.
Good to know.
Do you have a response?
No, I'm focused on the next 2 days.
Do you think you're the future of the Democratic Party?
I don't dare predict the future. That's why I'm out here canvassing to deal with my anxiety to get through the tape of the future of 9 p.m. on Tuesday.
Wow, the anxiety. See, didn't I tell you he's afraid he's going to lose? The Mamdani exit polling and the internal polls that they have in New York are showing that he is in trouble. This is awesome. I mean, everyone needs to pray that he loses. The least of the damage he'll do is the downfall of New York City's economy and crime wave. As bad as that is, that's not the real problem with him becoming mayor. All right. The number's toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Doc from Texas.
Oh, hey, Texas.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing a lot better knowing that Zohran admits that he's afraid he's going to lose, that he's not confident anymore.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, that's what I'm calling you about. You said Trump endorsed Cuomo?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he endorsed a sexual abuser.
No.
Yes, he did.
No.
Yes.
Who's the sexual abuser?
Cuomo.
No, he didn't sexually abuse
And
anyone. No, he
did.
I've got news for you. I understand that the way liberals have changed everything, hitting on a woman is not sexual abuse. Sexual abuse, sexual abuse, you know what that is. I don't have to tell you. Hitting on a woman, I mean, did you ever ask a girl out and get turned down?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, were you abusing her when you came on to her and she didn't want your advances?
Nope.
Well, then Cuomo didn't either. Oh, my goodness. Ugh. Boy, oh boy. Let me take a quick break, and we're welcoming some new sponsors on the program today. One of them here on the Brian Craig Show podcast of my YouTube channel is a great Etsy store that's run by some good conservatives. Here we go.
Are you looking for a gift that lasts a lifetime? One that's personal, powerful, and proudly American-made. At Back 40 Metalworks on Etsy, that's Works, W-O-R-X. They turn ideas into steel. Since 2010, Back 40 Metalworks has been crafting over 200 unique metal art designs, from wildlife and rustic decor to modern wall pieces and custom creations. With more than 30 years of experience working with metal, they know how to shape your vision into something extraordinary. Need a personalized welcome sign for your home? A company logo? A one-of-a-kind Christmas gift? Something for mom or dad on their day? Or any other day of the year? Every piece at Back 40 Metalworks is built to last, indoors or out, and every design tells a story, your story, in steel. Visit the shop online right now, back40metalworks.etsy.com. That's W-O-R-X, and view the inventory. You will be impressed. back40metalworks.etsy.com. They turn ideas into steel.
On the line, we have Gina. She's a client of Jupiter Joe Thomas. Gina, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you, Brian?
I'm doing great, thanks. So you went and met with Joe Thomas about annuities. Can you tell me about your experience?
I can't say enough good things about my experience with Joe Thomas. He's a straight shooter. He tells it like it is. He talks in plain language so that you know, because I didn't know anything about this stuff when I retired. So I walked into his office, and immediately I felt comfortable. And I said, look, I know nothing about this. I don't want to lose my shirt. So please guide me in the right direction so that I'll be set. And he sure did. And I'm very happy that I went there. And I even got my mother to join, too. Now I feel comfortable that I'm set, and I don't have to worry about running out of money.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than running out of money before you run out of life, right?
Exactly.
Give Jupiter Joe Thomas a call and schedule your no-charge consultation. His number is 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999, and online, jupiterjoe.com. All right, Gina, thanks so much.
Thank you, Brian.
All right, we're back. I'm Brian Craig. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Make sure you subscribe. Let's take some more calls. The number's toll-free. It's pinned in the live chat, 888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, my name is Caden. I'm from Erie, Pennsylvania, the good old purple state. How you doing tonight?
It's the morning, 5:47 a.m. Even where you are, it's the morning.
Yeah. It's the morning. I just woke up and saw your chat.
Well, welcome.
And I saw you say some pretty interesting things about Zandani, and I'm just a little curious. Would you consider Trump more communist or Zandani?
Trump is the textbook definition of capitalism.
I would disagree.
Well, then you're uninformed about the definition of what a capitalist is. You know, as an example, the television show, right, The Apprentice and the Celebrity Apprentice was formed around him because he's Mr. Monopoly. Give me an example give me an example of the communism of Trump. The multi-billionaire.
Using government funds to purchase 10% equity in the Intel?
That's not communism.
That is direct communism.
No, it's not. It is not direct communism.
Seizing means
Excuse me. No, it's not seizing. What he's
yes, it is.
Seizing is actually going in and taking over with, like, you know, the military or something. He didn't do that. Buying an interest is not seizing.
10% is enough to get board shares.
It's not seizing.
Means that government has
I don't know if it's enough for a board seat, but so what if it is? That's not seizing control. That's
government actively having the say of the interests of a private.
The government always has a say. When you're in Erie, Pennsylvania, right? If I wanted to, if I went to a local shopping center and set up, wanted to open up a store, like a retail store, selling, you know, I don't know, some liberal thing that people sell? I don't know, the morning after pill, okay, or something. What would I need before I did that?
Either insurance or some other form of.
I would need a business license.
Oh, to sell?
To open up the store, I'd have to get a business license, wouldn't I, from the government? Mm-hmm. So, you know, and we could go around this all day. So the government is involved in every single business out there and has a say. If I went to, you're in Erie, Pennsylvania. If I have that same business, right, that same liberal business selling morning after pills, and I decide that I want to sell them out of a house in a residential neighborhood, what would happen? Mm-hmm. What would happen?
Well, that, of course, because of regulation.
Oh, there's government zoning. Government zoning has zoned. The government says, we have zoning laws, and you can only do certain things. So the government's involved in every single business. I'm sorry that
that's a local government issue. That isn't a federal government issue.
Oh yeah, no. There's federal interference as well, and always has been in business.
In zoning?
Sure. You know, like I give you no. Like I give you an example. No. I give you an example. I'm on if I want to set up if I decide that I want to set up a radio station, right? And I put up a transmitter and tower. What do I need to do that?
To do that, you need approval from the state.
No, not the state. I need approval from the FCC. There you go. I need approval from the federal government. Okay, so the government. I'm sorry that your college professor or high school teacher gave you some textbook definition out of a book.
I'm a libertarian, dude. So I don't know. Like, I am very pro-capitalism, but I also
I don't know how you can be pro-capitalism if you don't even understand what it is. Hey, listen, appreciate the call. Oh my goodness, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, good morning, Brian. It's Greg.
Oh, hey, Greg.
Hey, listen, I'm glad you're rearing your sexist mentality once again. Let me ask you a question. Why did former Governor Cuomo, why did he resign?
What did I say that was sexist?
Have you ever asked a female out, and have they said no? No, do you ask females out that when you're their boss, when you're the governor, in a workplace setting, it's unacceptable.
Almost every relationship almost every relationship I've been in is with people that I worked with in different types of positions.
Were you their bosses?
I might have been in a higher position, sure.
So that's where you preyed upon females, all in the workplace. You didn't date people outside, like go to clubs
bars and pick up strangers off the street? No.
Straight, pick them off the street? Oh, so that's what you did. All you did was prey upon people in the workplace.
No,
Was your wife, did you work with your wife?
My wife was a listener of mine, and she came to a personal appearance to meet me, so I met her through my work. No, I have always...
But wait, let's get back to the point.
No, you wait. I'm going to respond.
Why did Governor Cuomo...
Excuse me, you're on hold. I'm going to respond to what you said, okay? Calm down. Most people...
Answer a question.
I'll answer what I want to answer, how I want to answer it, okay? When I call you, you can dictate the way the conversation goes. But you made some charges. I work a lot. Most people do. And most people over the years have met people they've dated through work. All of a sudden, a few years ago, liberals decided all of a sudden that's sexual harassment. I call that nonsense. All right, now back to Cuomo. Cuomo over Mamdani. Yes. Go ahead.
Why did Cuomo resign?
I don't know. He was at some advances during the lockdowns to a subordinate.
Oh, wait. So he made some advances during the lockdown to a subordinate?
During the lockdown period. Sure.
How many subordinates?
I don't remember. It's not important. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. I love it. See, you'll defend a sexual harasser. If you'll steep to any level.
Your definition of sexual harassment is different than mine.
It's a lot higher standard than yours. That's evident. I hope these
your standard. Oh yeah, they're listening.
Head.
Your standard is heterosexualism is harassment from a man. If a man is heterosexual. That's harassment. Sure. But let me get back to Cuomo and Mamdani. I'm very well aware. Cuomo is a monster, right? I mean, how many people are dead because of him? A lot. Okay?
Absolutely. He's a murderer.
And all of us know that, including...
Is he a murderer?
Maybe. Yeah, he may be. Very well.
Maybe. Yes or no? Can you answer the question?
It's not yes or no. I'm not on the witness stand. So President Trump, and all of us know about all these terrible things he did. So why do you think people like President Trump, who all are very well aware of what Cuomo was responsible for as governor during the lockdowns and everything, why do you think we want him to win over Mamdani?
Why don't we want the Republican candidate?
That's a question, not an answer. Well, the Republican candidate is a loser.
You know what? Because we know the alternative politically is far worse.
Not politically. No. Slow down. It's not politically far worse. Mamdani becoming mayor could be the beginning of the end of Western civilization as we know it. That's why.
You want to talk about hyperbole and an overstatement that's going to end Western civilization? Are you kidding
The Islamification of the most important city in the world, the most important city in this country, could be the beginning of Islamification of the West totally. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, so now we have to all worry about the United States falling down.
Correct.
And
yes.
breaking apart because of one mayoral election.
This isn't the mayor. This guy. Excuse me. This guy is not running for the mayor of Tamarack or Margate. He's running for mayor of New York City. Look at England. It's fallen because London fell. Oh, hold on. Go ahead, Greg.
You put me on hold. So
because you won't stop. You won't stop talking.
Okay, all right. Well, listen, your statement that we have to worry about the downfall of Western civilization.
That is correct.
One mayor.
Correct.
By the way, New York City has overcome worse mayors terrible mayors in the past.
Never, but those mayors were Americans.
He is an American.
His mother says he's not. She gave an interview. She said he's not an American. I'm sure you've seen it.
Where was he born? Where was he born?
Africa.
Where?
Uganda.
And where did he go to school?
New York City, private school, $60,000 a year private school.
There you go. You have something against private schools?
No, I'm not talking about schools. His mother in an interview said that he's not an American. Hey, Greg, I gotta run, but no one knows a boy better than his mom. Anybody know what that's from? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Mike from Louisiana.
Hey, Michael.
You know, I'm looking at that clip of Mamdani. You know, I'd love to have a body language expert look at him now versus 3 weeks ago when everything seemed to be going well for him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, think about it. You look at him. Yeah, he's bowing his head because the reporter is shorter than him. But again, look at how tight he looks. Look at how his shoulders are slumping down.
He's freaking out.
And he's panicking. Whereas 3 weeks ago, he was confidence almost bordering on arrogance.
That's right.
You know.
That's right.
You know, so his body language is really poor.
You know,
right
I gotta run because I meant to play this before I started the show. I gotta listen to this audio that I want to play. I want to play it here on YouTube, but I gotta listen to it before I play it on the radio to make sure there's no bad language that I can't play on the radio. But you're welcome to call back later, not in 10 minutes, but later in the show you can call back. Okay, so I cut you short. It's good for you guys now, but this is Nick Sorter. He interviewed this guy on the subway in New York about Mamdani. I just want to make sure there's no F-bombs.
Who are you voting for mayor?
It doesn't matter who you want to be mayor. You vote for who you don't want to be mayor. And you do not want Zohran Mamdani, whatever his name is, to be anywhere close to that office. There are like easily 3 distinct reasons, but really more, that you do not want that. And people don't understand what it's like to elect a Muslim socialist until they elect a Muslim socialist. You could ask our friends in London. How many years has Sadiq Khan been mayor there? How's that going?
What do you think will happen in New York City if Zohran does win?
You know, there'll be a few immediate things. One, if you're Jewish or Christian, you're going to feel extremely unsafe. You're going to be looking at a lot of the sort of Muslim street and Antifa-style element behaving like complete animals because they no longer have any limitations. The police are on their side, right? Second of all, you're going to see tremendous crime. Those same liberal white girls that are probably going to be why Mamdani wins, if he does, are going to be the first on the chopping block. And it's going to be awfully satisfying, grimly so, when they're the ones getting sexually harassed in the subway, because guess what? They're the first in line. Because there's no one protecting them, and they're gonna wonder about their vote at that point. But of course, by then...
Why do you say often satisfying?
Huh?
Why do you say often satisfying?
Because there is something deeply satisfying about someone facing the unintended consequences of their actions. I don't find it satisfying because I like it, it's horrendous. But the fact that they actively voted for this while claiming people like myself and yourself are racist, are fascist, are Nazis. Let's see if they think that way still when they're getting sexually assaulted by some guy who should either be in prison or mental asylum. Cuomo's not great. I never thought in a million years I would advocate for Cuomo. He killed all those people with the nursing homes. He was just kind of just a long time. His dad, I think was, if I recall correctly, was governor. Like, he's a long time political hack. But I'll take a political Democrat hack over a Muslim socialist.
Oh boy, yeah. Nick Sorter, he does some good reporting up there in New York, and he's taken a lot of risks doing it. Okay, I just wanted to make sure there was no salty language because I want to play that on the radio. We're going to be live on the radio in a couple of minutes. And I want to remind you guys that this early show, pre-show, as well as my afternoon and weekend shows are brought to you by Mike Lindell at MyPillow. So make sure that you go to MyPillow.com, do your Christmas shopping with my promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E.
I'm excited to announce that we're having our biggest 3-in-1 sale ever with a limited edition product, a back-in-stock special, and a closeout deal you won't find anywhere else. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get our MyPillow bedsheets only $29.88. Any color, any style, any size, even kings. Regular $119.98, only $29.88. Once they're gone for good. How about our My Towels? They're finally back in stock, but not for long. Get a 6-piece My Towel set, regular $69.98, now only $39.98. And for the first time and the only time ever, get our limited edition premium My Pillows. They're made with Giza cotton and designer gusset. Queen $17.98, Kings only $19.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get the best offers ever. Quantities are extremely limited, so order now.
All right, we're back. Now, those of you watching with the green wall behind me, if you want to see and hear all the audio and video and images I show, you have to go to my main stream on YouTube. The link is in the description of that video, right, if you're watching with the green behind me. The rest of you, welcome. We're going to be on the radio. The radio show will start. Let me double-check the time. In about 90 seconds. And, of course, we're going to be talking a lot about the 60 Minutes interview with the president and what's going on in New York City. And if you've not gone to MyPillow yet and started doing your Christmas shopping, do it now. Promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E. Today's the day. I'm going to find out later this morning if Mike Lindell and MyPillow are going to continue their sponsorship of the pre-show, afternoon and weekend shows of the program. And that's all dependent on you guys using the promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E. So go there right now and start doing your Christmas shopping, guys. If you do it now, there'll still be time before my meeting. Okay, we've got 1 minute and we'll be live. Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much, guys. And when we start on the radio in about 45 seconds, excuse me, guys, I've got to do some recapping of what I've talked about here, and I'll start bringing into the new things. If you're on hold, hang in there, and if you want to call in, the number is pinned in the live stream, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. Sorry, guys. I had a busy weekend. Here we go. Welcome to the program, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. Welcome, one and all. We've got a lot to cover. I'm going to go through, as the show goes on, this incredible interview that the president did on 60 Minutes last night. First time I've watched 60 Minutes, I don't know. When was the last time Trump was on? I only watch 60 Minutes when Trump is on. And they're only relevant when Trump is on, aren't they? I remember as a kid growing up, whatever happened on 60 Minutes every Sunday night, that's what everybody in the country was talking about on Monday morning. Well, those days have been gone for decades now, it seems. And I tune in, like I think most people do, when Trump's on. So we're going to go through that. And just to give you a sneak peek, President Trump endorsed Governor Cuomo for mayor over Mamdani. And we're going to talk about all of that and a whole bunch more on the program today. I'm going to go through some of the clips of that and other things. Things are not going well for Mamdani the day before the mayor's race. So before we get to that, I want to share something with you unrelated and get your opinion on this. Over the weekend, I went to Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Orlando with my daughter. And I had an experience at Halloween Horror Nights that was really frightening. And it'll seem so minor, I think, to a lot of people, but I don't think it is. And hopefully this problem that I encountered is being reversed by President Trump. So if you've ever been to Halloween Horror Nights, you know what a great time it is. Oh, man. And I'm with my daughter and her friend. We're having a great time. And I had to go to the men's room. And I didn't know where the men's room was. I'm walking around looking for them. I told my daughter, I said, I'll be right back. I'm going to go look for a men's room. I can't find a men's room. And I see a security guard. The security guard is a native-born white American guy. Okay, and he's between the ages of 25 and 27 years old. And I go up to him and say, hey, can you tell me where the men's room is? A simple question, right? How many times, guys, have you asked someone where the men's room is, where you've been in your life? I never really thought about it until this happened. So I go up to this guy. He's 25 to 27, white, native-born American, right? Fluent, born English-speaking American. So I said, hey, can you tell me where the men's room is? And he says, huh? I said, the men's room. And he didn't say anything at first. And then he says, do you mean the restroom? I said, yeah. And he pointed to where it was and gave me directions. He did not know what I meant when I said, where's the men's room? I'm not kidding. In fact, I have two YouTube channels. One where I do all the politics and everything, and then another one where I do vlogging. And I made a whole video at Halloween Horror Nights. It's on my other YouTube channel. It's called Main Street Moments on YouTube, guys. Main Street Moments on YouTube. And right as it happened, I put it on film. I talked about it and documented it, and it's there on YouTube. And he did not know. Now, he knows now, but he didn't know what the men's room was. Do you mean the restroom? And that got me thinking. How much damage with all this gender stuff have they actually done to young men? Again, he's between 25 and 27, where they've taken gender out of everything, including the men's room where the urinals are. And I wonder how widespread this problem is, in what other areas of our society have they infiltrated, and what parts of common standard American English have been compromised. Now, I know a lot of you are probably saying, hey, Brian, come on, you're being ridiculous. I don't think so. There's the men's room and there's the ladies' room. At least that's what I had growing up, and he didn't even know what it meant. That's a problem. While I've got a lot of things to talk about on the program today, that's pretty important. That's cultural. It's very important cultural in our society that they're changing things like that on that kind of level. It's pretty scary, and I feel bad for this guy because he obviously doesn't know. Can women go in the men's room? It's very strange. Very strange. So they don't put genders. He wasn't even aware of genders being assigned to the restrooms, as he calls them. And I think that's a problem. Especially when I'm talking to a young man, 25, 27, I think that he doesn't even know what being a man is. And he really had no idea what I was asking for. None. Zero. Pretty scary stuff. All right, your thoughts on that certainly are welcome, but I'm going to get into the main topics of the news, but you're welcome when you call in to share your opinion on that as well. Pretty scary, huh? Oh, my goodness. Mamdani is in trouble in New York. For the last... hold on, we'll play that soundbite in a minute. But the trouble for Mamdani began from the moment he posted that photograph of himself with that imam terrorist, the one who's an unindicted co-conspirator from the 1993 World Trade Center bombing. And since that happened, there has not been a single day that there has not been a story against Mamdani that was damaging to him in the news. He's had at least 9 days, maybe 2 full weeks of momentum going in Governor Cuomo's direction. And everything we see shows that momentum is in Cuomo's direction. I want to play this one clip. This is Mamdani yesterday on CNN. CNN caught him in the streets of New York. And, yesterday what they were talking, he hasn't gotten any endorsements from the big Democrat leaders. Obama didn't endorse him. Schumer didn't endorse him. Hakeem Jeffries not only did not endorse him, But Hakeem Jeffries said Zohran Mamdani is not the future of the Democrat Party. So the CNN reporter caught Mamdani in the streets of New York yesterday. Listen.
Hakeem Jeffries was asked this morning if you're the future of the Democratic Party. He said no.
Good to know.
Do you have a response?
No, I'm focused on the next 2 days.
Do you think you're the future of the Democratic Party?
I don't dare predict the future. That's why I'm out here canvassing to deal with my anxiety to get through the tape of the future of 9 p.m. on Tuesday.
Did you hear that? His anxiety. So Mamdani is acknowledging 1 week ago today, almost at this very exact moment, it was after the early votes came out, and then that story that he had lied about and made up this story about the ant and the hijab. And remember, and I said he is in a panic. And you can see by looking at him that he's suffering from an anxiety attack. And here we are. He's admitting that he is dealing with anxiety. Well, if he's dealing with anxiety because, he's afraid he may not win because his polling is telling him he's in trouble, how's he going to deal with the anxiety if there's another 9/11, right? Is he going to be able to handle it like Giuliani did? If he's if he's suffering from anxiety and distracting himself from anxiety, I want you to think about what he's doing here. He's out on the streets where he's going to get recognized. There was a movie years ago. Whoopi Goldberg plays the assistant to Sally Field. It was called Soap Dish. Remember Soap Dish? It was a movie about a soap opera. Sally Field was the Susan Lucci character. Whoopi Goldberg was her assistant. And the Sally Field character was depressed. So you know what she did? She went to the mall to go shopping because there she would get recognized, and that would make her feel good. Mamdani is dealing with anxiety because the polls are telling him he's going to lose. So what has he done? He's done something that a very narcissistic, pathetic individual would do who's well known. He's going out in the streets so people can come up and suck up to him and recognize him. That's pretty scary. He doesn't have what it takes to run anything. He can't handle not getting his participation trophy. This is a guy, even Saturday Night Live tore him down, which I'll get to in a little bit. Now, we're welcoming a new sponsor to the program, and I'm talking about our real estate guy, George Colony. We want to welcome him to the program, and we were introduced by George Colony by Tom Laporta from Laporta Roofing. So he comes highly recommended. And, George Colony, he has over 6 decades of experience in real estate and business. He specializes in every type of real estate there is, residential and commercial, from industrial and office spaces, retail, tenant representation, even in your single-family home purchases. Okay? He has been involved in the buying and selling of real estate, a total of $5 billion in transactions. So he's a top guy in the industry. He's also founder of an 8-figure business. And this is very important because for most everyone, the most important financial decision that most people will make is the purchase of their home. And who are you putting your financial future, which really is multi-generational in many instances with your home, who are you putting that big financial decision in the hands of? Your real estate agent, right? Well, throughout life, who has your real estate agent been? A wife who does it part-time after she drops the kids off from school? Someone who's a bartender at night at Chili's? I don't know. But I know this. George Colony, he's been involved in over $5 billion in real estate transactions. He's a top guy. And that's why when you hear the recorded commercial with George Colony on the radio, he says, people ask me, when's the right time to buy real estate and when's the right time to sell real estate? And the answer to that question is it's always the right time to buy or sell real estate if you have the right advice. And that's what you're going to get from George Colony. So give him a call for anything involving any type of real estate. This number rings directly to George Colony's cell phone, 954-801-7320. 954-801-7320. That's 954-801-7320. And make sure you tell George Colony that I sent you. We'll be right back. All right, we're clear. If you're on hold, hang in there, guys. Our number is pinned in the live chat. But Mamdani is, you guys agree that Mamdani is in a panic? Absolutely he is. He's in a big panic. Okay, when we get back, I'll get into Trump on the race, because he is definitely commenting on it. Doesn't the president look great, by the way? He looks spectacular. Okay, we'll be back in just a couple of minutes, guys. If you're on hold, hang in there. Okay, stand by, guys. Okay. Hold on, everyone. Where are we? Okay. We'll be back in 1 minute. All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. Call us on hold. You stand by. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. So our favorite president, our greatest president, the awesome President Donald John Trump, he went on 60 Minutes for the first time in a long time last night. He looks great, by the way, I must say. Did he not look great? Did you guys catch it? And not only did he look great, he made a lot of great points. And here's President Trump. He's talking about the New York race with this idiot, Norah O'Donnell, who's aged like 50 years since the last time I saw her.
But what if Mamdani becomes mayor?
It's going to be hard for me as the president to give a lot of money to New York because if you have a communist running New York, all you're doing is wasting the money you're sending there. So I don't know that he's won, and I'm not a fan of Cuomo one way or the other, but if it's going to be between a bad Democrat and a communist, I'm going to pick the bad Democrat all the time, to be honest with you.
Yeah. You know, this is the thing with Mamdani. We are all well aware of what a terrible person Cuomo is. We all know this. And this is not an endorsement of anything about Cuomo, other than he's not Mamdani. How many times in your life have you heard someone say, I'm going to vote for the lesser of two evils? I never liked that expression, but in this instance, it is true. They're both evil. And Cuomo has done a lot of very evil things. Mamdani hasn't done anything yet. In fact, he hasn't done anything in his life, right? Except get his own way from mommy and daddy and smile a lot. But what he represents in the future is far more devastating and evil than even what Cuomo did. And so far as all those lives that were lost because of Cuomo, and which makes him a truly evil man, that's a small number of lives that will be lost if Mamdani becomes the mayor of New York City. Because Mamdani becoming the mayor of the most important city in the world. There's no city in the world more important than New York City. To have a radical Muslim who hangs out with terrorists, because that unindicted co-conspirator from the 93 Trade Center bombing, that's terrorist. Okay. And all the things that he's promising to do. Can you imagine the things he's planning on doing that he hasn't talked about? More lives will be lost over the course of time. So believe me, we are all well aware of the evils of Cuomo, and this doesn't change any of that. But he's less dangerous than what Mamdani represents. That's how bad Mamdani is. And these liberals in the media, they know. And they just don't have the guts to say it. But this interview with the president on 60 Minutes was spectacular.
Will be at the top of the Republican ticket. Can you?
Oh, this is President Trump talking about running again in 2028.
Will be at the top of the Republican ticket. Can you set the record straight? You're not going to try and run for a third term?
Well, I don't even think about it. I will tell you, a lot of people want me to run.
That's right,
But the difference between us and the Democrats is we really do have a strong bench. I don't want to use names because it's, inappropriate, but it's too early.
But people do like when you start talking about whether you like J.D. Vance or Secretary Rubio.
I do like J.D. Vance. I like Marco Rubio. I like so many people. We have an unbelievable bench.
Mr. President, can I also ask you, we're now at the end.
Okay, so you know what Norah O'Donnell's problem is, one of her big problems? When she first came to the national news, her whole thing she's young. She's some young girl doing the news. How impressive. Now she's an old lady, and all she had was that she was young before. Now she's got nothing. I mean, she's terrible. President Trump, he gave great answers, but her questions and everything else and her whole style is weak, isn't it? But you see, he did not rule out 2028. It's still very much on the table. And you can see, her asking about it, it panics these leftists. Just the idea that President Trump may run again in 2028, whether or not it's going to happen or not, whether or not the Constitution can be changed or not, the very idea of it has them in a panic. That is at least the third time in the last week that I've seen someone from the mainstream media ask Trump. They're trying to get him on the record ruling out 2028, and they haven't been able to do it. They keep asking about it. They're worried about it. So for all of you people out there who say, it can't happen, obviously the mainstream liberal media think that, in fact, it can happen. That's why they keep asking him about it. Now, I want to talk about Tom Laporta at Laporta Roofing. We've gotten very lucky that we have not gotten a hurricane here in South Florida this hurricane season, right? Oh, man, I tell you, hurricanes are rough and they suck, and you don't want to go through one. But I'll tell you, we've been getting a lot of rains and everything. If you have a wet spot on your ceiling, you've got a leak in your roof. You want to take care of that. Your roof is more important than to your house than you realize, and it's important every day of the year to be safe, secure, and leak-free. With Steve's situation, he had a wet, we talk a lot about that wet spot on your ceiling. The way that came to be is because of Steve. Steve had a wet spot on his ceiling, and he ignored it. It was a little tiny wet spot, a little tiny thing about the size of a quarter when he first saw it. And then it started getting the size of a $50, and then other wet spots started appearing. And I remember going over to Steve's house, and it smelled like mold, right? And there were buckets all over the place capturing the water. It wasn't even raining. And there was water dripping down because it had poured on top of his insulation in his attic. And that's how we found Tom Laporta at Laporta Roofing. And Steve had to not only get a whole new roof because it was ignored, that first leak. He may have just needed a simple repair if he had called Tom Laporta when he saw that first wet spot. But he ignored it. There was so much damage done, he needed a whole new roof. But that leak in the roof had caused all kinds of problems. The water pulling up had been soaked up by the drywall. 40% of Steve's drywall was infected with that deadly black mold. So he had to get 40% of the drywall in his home replaced. There were a whole bunch of other problems too. And all of that could have been avoided if he would have called Tom Laporta when he saw that first wet spot on the ceiling. Tom Laporta will never sell you a roof you do not need. If you need a simple repair, he will do it. And he works on every type of structure, residential, commercial, and municipal. Works with every type of roofing material, and he can handle the job of any size, whether it's one single-family home, one apartment building, one office building, or an HOA with over 400 units. He can handle it. He covers both the east and west coast of Florida and everywhere in between. And on top of being a roofer, he's also a general contractor, which under Florida law allows Tom Laporta to deal directly with your insurance company on the cost of the replacement or the repair of your roof. Give him a call. This number rings directly to Tom Laporta's cell phone. I got a call last week from Al Knight. You guys know Al Knight. He's our weekend guy, and I've known Al Knight for years and years and years. And he had a problem, and he at his house. He called me. He says, "You think you can get Tom Laporta?" I said, "Call Tom Laporta on his cell phone, right? If he doesn't answer, he'll call you right back." And he's like, whatever. He called. I gave him the cell phone number. He called Tom Laporta. And he called me back after. Well, he texted me. And he said, Tom answered on the first ring. It was dinner time. Yeah, that's right. He was very impressed by that. That's true. So give Tom Laporta a call or text him. This number rings directly to his cell phone, 954-604-4602, 954-604-4602. And online, laportaroofing.com. We'll be right back. If you're on hold, stand by, guys.
Are you looking for a gift that lasts a lifetime? One that's personal, powerful, and proudly American-made. At Back 40 Metalworks on Etsy, that's Works, W-O-R-X. They turn ideas into steel. Since 2010, Back 40 Metalworks has been crafting over 200 unique metal art designs, from wildlife and rustic decor to modern wall pieces and custom creations. With more than 30 years of experience working with metal, they know how to shape your vision into something extraordinary. Need a personalized welcome sign for your home? A company logo? A one-of-a-kind Christmas gift? Something for mom or dad on their day? Or any other day of the year? Every piece at Back 40 Metalworks is built to last, indoors or out, and every design tells a story, your story, in steel. Visit the shop online right now, back40metalworks.etsy.com. That's W-O-R-X, and view the inventory. You will be impressed. Back 40 Metalworks.etsy.com. They turn ideas into steel.
I'm excited to announce that we're having our biggest 3-in-1 sale ever with a limited edition product, a back-in-stock special, and a closeout deal you won't find anywhere else. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get our MyPillow bed sheets, only $29.88. Any color, any style, any size, even kings, regular $119.98, only $29.88. Once they're gone for good. How about our My Towels? They're finally back in stock, but not for long. Get a 6-piece My Towel set, regular $69.98, now only $39.98. And for the first time and the only time ever, get our limited edition premium My Pillows. They're made with Giza cotton and designer gusset. Queen $17.98, Kings only $19.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get the best offers ever. Quantities are extremely limited, so order now.
All right, yeah, and Back 40 Metalwork, the link to their Etsy shop is in the description of the video, guys. So support them. They're good conservative people. Okay. Just figuring out where I'm going to go when we get back. Okay. We'll be back in about 90 seconds, guys. One minute, we'll be back. Welcome, everyone. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. I'm going to get back to the important stuff in the national news and the mayor's race in a bit. We have so much to cover today. And just a mental note, if I have time, we may have some... I think we may have too many police in our local city. I'll tell you what I mean by that in a little bit. And I did watch, when I was in Orlando over the weekend, my daughter is a big fan of the Dodgers. So I did watch Game 7 of the World Series, and I got to tell you, it was unbelievably riveting. It was Saturday night. We were at Halloween Horror Nights, right? It's when we were there with the young guy that doesn't know what a men's room is. How does he know where to pee if he doesn't know what what's he do? My daughter, we were watching the game between things on the cell phone, but it went so late. By the time we got back to the hotel, it was still going on, and it was an incredible game. I mean, I used to watch baseball when I was younger, but I got out of sports long ago for whatever reason. I don't know. I guess when I started liking girls. I don't know when I got into girls. If every baseball game had that much suspense, oh my goodness, I'd be watching it all the time. But I think I might follow baseball next year because that Game 7 of the World Series was amazing. And we were staying at this hotel at Universal. What was it called? Something Bay. I forgot the name of it. Something Bay. I remember it's a 50s, 60s theme hotel. And we took Cabana Bay, it's called. We took a shuttle from the hotel to Universal Studios and back. And we're watching on the bus, and my daughter's got, with her friend, and her friend, they have it on their iPhone. And the bus was everybody on the bus was just huddled around watching the game on my daughter and friend's cell phone. We would come back. It was pretty exciting. Then we got back to the hotel room and stayed up and watched the game. And it was nice. And we couldn't let Canada win that, right? No, we couldn't let Canada win. The way they've been treating us lately, are you kidding? But I'm going to throw something out, and I don't know if I should or not, but I'm going to. And it does relate to Mamdani and everything that's going on. So the MVP of the game was this Japanese player. And I got no problem with the Japanese. There's a lot of things Japanese I like. I just got a new Atari 2600 Pac-Man limited edition. My wife and I just got shipped over the weekend. I'm hoping it arrives today, and of course, Pac-Man. I've got a Ms. Pac-Man machine in my house, like an arcade Ms. Pac-Man machine, and that comes from the Japanese. So I got no beef with the Japanese. However, I want to throw something out to you, okay? This Japanese player with the Dodgers, and they have multiple Japanese players on the team, right? Yamamoto. And that's a name I'm pretty familiar with. Yamamoto, aren't you? President Trump had a great trip to Japan, and their new lady prime minister loves Trump, and she's Japanese MAGA, no doubt about it. Like Melee in Argentina is Argentinian MAGA. But anyway, Yamamoto, the MVP from the World Series. Admiral Yamamoto was the Japanese admiral behind the attack on Pearl Harbor. Okay? And my question is, and I know that was a long time ago, right? It's like 85 years ago. It was over 80 years ago. It was a long time ago. I get it. But would you want the MVP of the World Series in 80 years to be a player by the name of Bin Laden? Would you? It's the same thing. The name Bin Laden and the name Yamamoto have the same connection. Those are the names behind the people behind the two largest attacks in the history of the United States. And I hadn't followed the game. I haven't followed the teams. I have not watched a baseball game in decades. But as soon as I heard Yamamoto, I was thinking about Pearl Harbor. And remember what they said. You can see this in all your old John Wayne movies. Remember Pearl Harbor? And, that's just... I'm not holding this player responsible for Pearl Harbor. Although, is he a descendant of Admiral Yamamoto? Does anyone know? Maybe he is. Maybe he isn't. But I was just thinking, is that what happens in this country? Are we going to have the MVP be a guy named Bin Laden one day? And that would make me uncomfortable even 80 years out, although I'll be dead in 80 years. I don't know. I just thought I'd throw that out. I probably should not, but it's something to think about. And I'll tell you this. Remember in those old movies, those old war movies that they made during World War II? And to find out if the guy in the dark on the other side of the trees was an American or not, they would say, who won the World Series? Or they'd ask you who, If you went back to those guys and showed them the future, that the MVP for the World Series in the future would be someone named Yamamoto, they would have... Who knows what they would have done? They never would have believed it if you survived the encounter out in the battlefield. But that's all I could think about. Yamamoto, Pearl Harbor, Bin Laden, 9/11. I wanted to play that Nick Sorter, he did so much great work covering Antifa out in Portland, and he's been in New York doing great coverage on what's going on in New York City with this mayor's race. And he interviewed a guy on the subway in New York City over the weekend. And you saw him at the White House with the president a couple weeks ago when he had all those young citizen journalists on Antifa. He was one of them. Here's Nick Sorter. He's talking to a guy on the subway about Mamdani and what it means if he becomes mayor.
Who are you voting for mayor?
It doesn't matter who you want to be mayor. You vote for who you don't want to be mayor. And you do not want Zohran Mamdani, whatever his name is, to be anywhere close to that office. There are easily 3 distinct reasons, but really more, that you do not want that. And people don't understand what it's like to elect a Muslim socialist until they elect a Muslim socialist. You could ask our friends in London, how many years has Sadiq Khan been mayor there? How's that going?
What do you think will happen in New York City if Zohran does win?
There'll be a few immediate things. One, If you're Jewish or Christian, you're going to feel extremely unsafe. You're going to be looking at a lot of these sort of Muslim street and Antifa-style element behaving like complete animals because they no longer have any limitations. The police are on their side, right? Yeah. Second of all, you're going to see tremendous crime. Those same liberal white girls that are probably going to be why Mamdani wins, if he does, are going to be the first on the chopping block. And it's going to be awfully satisfying, grimly so, when they're the ones getting sexually harassed in the subway, because guess what? They're the first in line. Because there's no one protecting them, and they're gonna wonder about their vote at that point. But of course, by then,
why do you say awfully satisfying?
Huh?
Why do you say awfully satisfying?
Because there is something deeply satisfying about someone facing the unintended consequences of their actions. I don't find it satisfying because I like it; it's horrendous. But the fact that they actively voted for this while claiming people like myself and yourself are racist, are fascist, are Nazis. Let's see if they think that way still when they're getting sexually assaulted by some guy who should either be in prison or mental asylum. Cuomo's not great. I never thought in a million years I would advocate for Cuomo. He killed all those people at the nursing homes. He was just kind of just a long time. His dad, I think, was, if I recall correctly, was governor. Like, he's a long time political hack. But I'll take a political Democrat hack over a Muslim socialist.
Yeah, I mean, that's so true. You know, and if you're on hold, hang in there. We'll go to the calls after the last break of this hour, so we're up against a break. But everything is going against Mamdani. This is not a slam dunk. This is a race that's too close to call. We'll talk more about that as the program goes on. Call us on hold. You stand by. I want to talk to you all about our 10th annual MAGA Cruise is coming up in March. We are in November. Our MAGA Cruise is coming up, and I am very excited about our MAGA Cruise. I got to tell you, we're going to have a great time. You are all invited. This is going to be our best one yet. We have our largest group yet, but we have this 2019 pricing, and that is as true as it gets. I mean, this is incredibly low pricing that Ian from Cruise and Travel Depot was able to lock in. Very soon, the holiday specials are going to start to be announced by the cruise line. When that does, our 2019 pricing disappears. So you need to make your reservation now. Call Ian at Cruise and Travel Depot and join us on our 10th annual MAGA Cruise, 561-244-5779. If you get his voicemail, leave your name and number. He will call you back. Okay? Also, if you're coming in from out of town, Ian can help you with airfare, hotel stay if you're going to stay early or stay late, and also your transportation to the cruise line from either the airport or your hotel. Give him a call, 561-244-5779. 561-244-5779. We'll be right back. Oh, yeah. Great dinner. Great food. We just have a great time. This is this is a couple of cruises ago, this video. Oh, man. What a great cruise that was. Dessert. Look at me just chilling out in the morning, having my coffee. And yeah, Colleen, you're all welcome to join us. We have so much fun. You're going to just have a blast. You really, truly are. And like I said, if you get his, that's the Martini bar. That's my favorite bar on the ship. If you call him and you get his voicemail, leave your name and number. He will call you back, 561-244-5779. If you're on hold, stand by. You know, Yamamoto, he planned and led the attack on Pearl Harbor. Just, I don't know, just that was just on my mind when I saw that. I'm a history guy, so I guess that's where my mind tends to go. We'll be back in a couple minutes, guys. If you're on hold, hang in there. I will go to the phones when we get back. Okay, hang in there.
I'm excited to announce that we're having our biggest 3-in-1 sale ever with a limited edition product, a back-in-stock special, and a closeout deal you won't find anywhere else. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get our MyPillow bedsheets, only $29.88. Any color, any style, any size, even kings. Regular $119.98, only $29.88. Once they're gone for good. How about our My Towels? They're finally back in stock, but not for long. Get a 6-piece My Towel set, regular $69.98, now only $39.98. And for the first time and the only time ever, get our limited edition premium My Pillows. They're made with Giza cotton and designer gusset. Queen $17.98, Kings only $19.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get the best offers ever. Quantities are extremely limited, so order now.
All right, we'll be back shortly, guys. Oh, just in time. All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. To the phones we go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello?
Yeah, you're on the air.
Hi, this is Paul from Florida.
Hey, Paul. What's on your mind?
If when Eric Adams was the mayor, there were a lot of night flights coming in. If Mamdani gets in, there's going to be night flights coming from who knows where, and you just never know what.
What you're saying is right on the money. What's going to happen if Mamdani becomes the mayor, and by the way, by his own admission, he's in a panic. He's afraid he's going to lose. If he becomes mayor, there's going to be a massive immigration and migration of Muslims to New York, no doubt. Yes, from all over the world.
Correct, and they will not bat an eye when it comes to dying for their faith. So I'd say everybody in the administration needs to have the most top security.
Well, let me tell you about listen, out of all of the immigrants that come to America, the Muslim immigrants, they come to, it's not just the United States, wherever they immigrate to, England, other parts of Europe, or the United States, they don't assimilate to the cultures where they move. They demand that the country they move to assimilate to their culture. That's right. Yeah, correct. And that's the problem.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, they said years ago that I heard they said they're going to dominate the world, and I think the people in our government, they haven't kicked them out yet. But
okay, I appreciate the call. I heard it the first time. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Conservative Doug.
Hey, Doug.
Man, this has been a very aggravating weekend. First of all, this Mamdani character. All you have to do in politics today, apparently, is just lie and say, "I'll give everything for free," and you get a following, and people want to vote for you. You get this bum. Then we're going to have Cuomo in there, most likely.
Yep.
Terrible. Then you get Harrison Ford saying all these nasty things about the president. I can't stand it. Now I can never watch another Harrison Ford movie. And then you got the damn rhinos taking away the tariffs on, I think it was Brazil.
Well, this thing about Harrison Ford. Okay, this thing about Harrison Ford. If you remember, Harrison Ford was one of several celebrities that made endorsement videos of Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
Okay. And I was wondering if those I don't know, but I talked about this at the time, and I was wondering if they were being paid for those endorsements. Who was the big singer that got paid millions of dollars to do a couple-minute stage appearance? Was it Beyonce?
Yeah.
Was it Beyonce?
Yeah, it was Beyonce.
Yeah, millions of dollars just to be on stage with Kamala for a couple minutes. And then all these celebrities came out, like Harrison Ford. And if you've noticed, over the past few years, Harrison Ford, who once earned $20 million a movie, back in the days of Air Force One and stuff, he's been making garbage. He did that Indiana Jones movie, which is an embarrassment to a man who's had a great career. He is a supporting actor on a television show on Apple TV now to a unknown, unfunny actor. And I've mentioned this a few times in relations to this. Celebrities don't get paid residuals anymore. They used to. The actors don't have residual deals for the streaming services. Hollywood finally found a way around it. So you're seeing a lot of actors like Harrison Ford who all of a sudden they're not getting residual money. So they're out there doing whatever it is they got to do to make money. That's why someone like Harrison Ford is doing so much garbage. And I wonder if these things that he's doing politically are paid things. I wonder.
I would bet. Yeah, apparently, if he's not getting residuals, he's got to do something. So I guess.
Well, they all are. They're all doing. That's why they were. That's why they were probably. That's why when they were talking about the millions that Beyonce got paid, I said, well, wait a minute. What about these other celebrities that are washed up? That and things. And I bet you the residuals being cut off is causing a major financial problem with celebrities like Harrison Ford. They have expensive lifestyles.
Yeah, and I guess the point is that he figures he can turn off half the country because nobody's listening to him anyway. So I guess it'll take wherever. Give me a buck and I'll do what you want.
If that's what they've done, I don't know. It should be investigated because endorsements that you're being paid for and not sharing, I think that's a crime.
Well, I don't know if it's a crime or not, but it's certainly freedom of speech. But
no, when you hear me, I do endorsements all the time, right? Every commercial break, and you know that they're Now again, I don't just endorse anyone. I get to know people. I meet people. I don't endorse anyone who either I don't use their services or Steve doesn't or both of you know what I mean. There's caveats. But
all good guys.
But there's no secret as to what we're doing. You understand what I mean? I'm not trying to trying to make it sound like, oh, this guy's a great guy. So when you're doing a paid endorsement, I think you're required when it's political to let it be known. I always thought that was the case.
I would like that. That'd be great. But unfortunately, I guess that's not the way it's going to be because. Then everybody will be saying, "Oh, freedom of speech, you have to this, you can't do that." But if that's what he's doing, he's a sad state man. The guy, I just really like his movies,
it's bad enough we lost Mark Hamill, we lost Luke Skywalker, now we lost Han to the dark side.
Yeah, and then you got the damn rhinos stabbing President Trump in the back, doing everything they can. I'm hoping that in the midterms we'll get rid of a lot of them because. I mean, the tariffs are working. Everything's doing great, and they're taking tariffs away. And that Van Paul, that idiot, making talking points for the Democrats, saying,
"Oh, he's a jerk. He's a jerk." Rand Paul's even against taking out the cartel boats. I think we've had 15 or 17 strikes. Hey, appreciate the call, Doug. Some good points were made. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, good morning. Good morning.
Hey, Richie.
I heard you talk about Yamamoto, the pitcher.
Yamamoto?
I don't care what his name is. The guy that was the greatest.
It was amazing.
I never seen anything like it.
That game was so exciting. Next season, I'm gonna follow. I think I'll probably follow the Dodgers. I like the Dodgers.
I can't watch baseball too much because I see all these millionaires and it makes me sick. I mean, they're not even. I mean, the game has changed a little bit. They went back to the old rules. During the season, they got crazy rules that apply. It's not the same in the World Series.
Yeah.
with the people on base and everything. I got to say something to you. You brought up about the names, and then you brought up New York, Bin Laden, and this guy that's going to be elected probably for New York mayor. And I'm in shock because as you were running around with Emily and her friend at Universal Studios having a great time, you were probably running away from, and because I've been there during Halloween Horror Nights, it's a rush when you see these guys with the chainsaws coming after you.
Yeah.
Do they still get that?
Yeah.
Can you imagine in England, the same night you were getting chased around, 2 terrorists on a train stabbing people?
I saw it.
Like, and then it happened 9 hours later in another city, and I see there's a guy that's in England that's selling stab-proof Cavalier vests.
Crazy.
I mean, and not bulletproof. Brian, this is a trailer, a coming attraction to what's coming to America.
You know, you're right, and I'll tell you
England
this thing in England. You know, here you got King Charles so concerned about his brother's titles. Who gives a crap? You know, I mean, he's so far down. Who cares? They should be focused on this. And you know, I remember there was I can't remember which incident this was. It was this was like 10 years ago or so. It was either the Ariana Grande bombing. Remember that bombing at her concert?
Yeah.
Or it was the other terrorist attack, the one on the bridge in London. I can't remember which one this was. It was one of those two.
Yeah, stabbings on the bridge.
Okay, and I'm watching Sky News, and Fox News is carrying Sky News, and Sky News interviews this guy who's got the teeth of Freddie Mercury. And he's an Englishman, and he's being interviewed about the attack, and he's wearing a scarf that has that Arafat pattern on it. You know what I'm talking about? And I talked about it on the air at the time, and I reference it from time to time on the show. When I saw that, I said, England's gone. When Muslim garb like that is being worn as common fashion by a traditional Englishman, they're done. And now here we are years later.
It was a knife attack in Dearborn, Michigan, just a couple of days ago.
Yeah, and in Dearborn, they're naming a street after a Palestinian guy, and they got a Muslim mayor. They got a Muslim mayor in Dearborn.
Yeah, coming attractions, folks. Watch what's happening in New York because it's coming to your city. And that the stabbing last night, not on a train. The other one was in a little village town.
Yeah,
they're all over the place, and Jews in England are leaving. They can't stay in England or France because they're victims. They're being stabbed.
That's
you can't wear anything that says you're Jewish. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. No, you're right.
I mean, how can politicians?
All right, listen. I'm out of time, Richie. I got a break. But good points. Everything you said is spot on. If you're on hold, hang in there. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. We're going to take our break for the top of the hour. Come back with your calls. My name's Brian Craig. Stand by. Back after this break. In fact, let me pull this audio up. Something I want to share when we get back. The piece of audio. Oh, here it is. Okay, just queuing up something to play when we get back. If you're on hold, stand by. Okay, we'll be back in a couple of minutes, guys. And hey, don't forget, I got my big My Pillow meeting today. They're going to let me know if they're going to continue the sponsorship. So go to mypillow.com and use our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, and start doing your Christmas shop.
I'm excited to announce that we're having our biggest 3-in-1 sale ever with a limited edition product, a back-in-stock special, and a closeout deal you won't find anywhere else. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get our MyPillow bed sheets, only $29.88. Any color, any style, any size, even kings, regular $119.98. Only $29.88. Once they're gone for good. How about our My Towels? They're finally back in stock, but not for long. Get a 6-piece My Towel set, regular $69.98, now only $39.98. And for the first time and the only time ever, get our limited edition premium My Pillows. They're made with Giza cotton and designer gusset. Queen $17.98, Kings only $19.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get the best offers ever. Quantities are extremely limited, so order now.
Okay, I'm going to share this when we get back. This is in relation to what Richie was talking about. Okay. One minute, we'll be back, guys. Less than a minute. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Cracking my knees. Hour number 2 has begun. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. On the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. Callers on hold, stand by. I want to play this. This is a follow-up to Richie's call about the future of New York. This is a city council meeting from September 9th in Dearborn, Michigan. They have a Muslim mayor, and the city council is about to pass a local ordinance renaming a street after a well, let me get the name right. I can't remember the name. They're going to name a street after a Hezbollah supporter whose name I can't pronounce, okay? A supporter of Hezbollah. Like top Islamic they're going to name a street in Dearborn leader after a Hezbollah supporter. They got a Muslim mayor. So this local guy who's a local resident, he's a regular American Michigan guy. He probably has lived in Michigan his entire life, as have his whole family. And his city's been taken over like Mamdani's trying to take over New York City. And he's going to address the city council, and he takes issue with the Dearborn City Council renaming a street. It already has a name, but they're going to rename a street after a Hezbollah supporter. Listen to this exchange. And the man that dresses him down, this is a regular white American Michigan guy who's a citizen. The Muslim mayor of Dearborn dresses him down. Listen to this.
Hezbollah, bombed the embassy in Beirut, and including many Americans. So I just feel it's quite inappropriate.
You are an Islamophobe, and although you live here, I want you to know, as mayor, you are not welcome here. And the day you move out of the city will be the day that I launch a parade celebrating the fact that you moved out of the city, because you are not somebody who believes in coexistence.
Wow. That's the mayor of Dearborn. His name
is, let me get his name. And although you live here, I want you to know, as mayor, you are not welcome.
This is Mayor Abdullah Hammoud. He's the mayor of Dearborn. Guy doesn't want a street named after a Hezbollah terrorist supporter. And he's the problem. He wants this lifelong Michigan guy out of Michigan. This is our Michigan now. My goodness. Coming to New York City. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello?
Yeah, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Oh, I'm calling from Arizona, dude.
All right, dude. What's up, man?
What's up, Brian? Is it fine if I call you Brian?
That's my name.
Nice. I'm Zane. Nice to meet you.
What's your name?
Zane.
Zane. Okay, Zane. Okay. What's up, Zane?
Yeah,
like Zane Grey or Billy Zane? Okay.
It means gracious gift from God in the traditional language.
What traditional language? What language?
I think it's Greek, if
Oh, okay.
I'm not mistaken.
My family's Greek.
Yeah. Oh, really? That's interesting.
Yeah.
I'm calling because, I don't know, I'm young. I'm 18.
Yeah.
I feel like I've got a lot of perspective into this whole political debate. I feel like I rest in a pretty represented, population of people, young, white, don't really see a lot of love from the whole politics area. Yeah.
Well, that's insane. You're calling me from Arizona, right?
Yeah.
That's where Turning Point USA is based out of. That's an organization just for you.
Yeah, no. Charlie Kirk was, one of my role models, actually.
Awesome.
And then he got, and that kind of hit me directly. So I'm starting to get more and more into this whole politics area. And I'm just noticing there's a lot of diversity and a lot of, I would hate to say it, but I feel like there's a whole lot of, polarity, right? A lot of people view the other side not as a mirror of what they could, learn from, but instead as, they try to, demonize them and, just try to point every single finger at each other that they possibly can,
Who's the they? You got to be more specific. These are vague generalities you're throwing out.
Well, I mean, I feel like generalities are the best way to go, because if you think about politics more as a spectrum instead of a choice, right? Then you get the truth of the whole, right? If you throw as many darts as you can and at a dartboard, your accuracy might be all over the place, but where you throw the most darts is going to be the truth of where your aim is, right? Mm-hmm. And I feel like the spectrum of, politics, it's too, are you right or are you left? I feel like most people find themselves in the middle. But that's where
Donald Trump is. Donald Trump is in the middle.
Yes, but Donald Trump also waged a war in Brazil, or not waged a war, I would say, but these kind of
What war did Donald Trump wage?
I misspoke. I didn't mean to say war, but
he's ended wars.
Trying to intervene. Huh?
He's ended wars, not begun them.
Right. Yeah, he's ended wars, but wherever we tend to step our foot, 5 major companies, tend to make millions of dollars of profit, and these aren't, United States-based companies. These are big oil companies.
I don't know what you're talking. What is Trump done that you would take issue with? He's very moderate, very middle. People don't realize that, but he is.
No. Trump, in my opinion, is a great president.
Well, that's who you should vote for when you grow up and you vote in a presidential election, which you've not done yet. Are you in college yet? Are you in college yet?
No, I'm working as an electrician, and I'm going to study how to become an electrical engineer.
Stay in the electricity business. You'll do better as an electrician than you'll do with some useless college degree. But if you want to be an engineer, that's good too.
Yeah, it's just because I want to pay for college on my own dime. You know,
that's smart. That's what I did. I did that. That's how I paid my way through college. It took me a long time, but that's the way you want to do it.
How was that experience for you, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, I never had any student loan debt.
Really?
Right? No, if you pay for it yourself. I paid for it myself as I went. Sometimes I would take one class. Sometimes I'd skip a semester. And then I graduated, I got my degree, and I don't have any student loan debt. It's awesome.
Even, did that like an $80,000, $120,000 degree, or was it like something minor?
I have a bachelor's degree with a double major in history and education. I don't know how much it cost me. It wasn't cheap, but I don't know how much it cost me. But it cost, I didn't keep track. I was in school so long, But yeah.
Well, I think that Americans as a whole should, deflect from the belief that we need to be so inclusive and, so caregiving to everyone.
Well, listen, I'm gonna run, but you're being a little too generic for me. But anyway, welcome to the show, and we'll talk again sometime. If you're on hold, hang in there. I want to go through a couple of things, and then I'll get into some things I haven't touched on yet. We are in an incredible time right now, and this government shutdown with the SNAP benefits is one of those incredible times. I want to play this for you. I played this on the pre-show. Presley was on MS-13 over the weekend, and she was talking about the food stamp SNAP benefit people. Listen.
First and foremost, this is the most corrupt administration in history. And then they're cruel enough to create work requirements for hungry people to get SNAP.
Okay. So Presley, she's the bald member of the squad. She said that it's what did she, let me get her exact words. I don't want to misquote this bald-headed lady.
First and foremost, this is the most corrupt administration in history. And then they're cruel enough to create work requirements for hungry people to get SNAP. Okay,
it's cruel to require work requirements for people to get food stamps. How many of you listening to my voice right now have a work requirement for your food? I know I do. If I didn't work, eventually I'd run out of food. And this is a crazy thing. Do you know that all the grocery stores, they require money to buy food? So I have a work requirement. You probably do, unless you're born rich. Why do we, in fact, that work requirement goes to every aspect of my life. I took a little short weekend vacation with my daughter. I have to work for that. I got a car. I got to work. Do you know the car? They require payments. I got to work to pay for my car. If I don't pay my water bill, the government they'll shut off my water. They're requiring all this work. There's work requirements for everything I do. Everything. So why is it that all of us normal people, working people, why do we have a work requirement, but these lazy people on food stamps, they shouldn't be required to work? Now, I know there's some needy people on food stamps. I get that. But most are not. Maybe 5% of them. But the ones I'm seeing online griping about their SNAP benefits, they could work. They just choose not to. So why is it cruel and inhumane to require these welfare kings and queens to work, but all of us that work for a living, we're just expected to work. In fact, we have a work requirement to pay for these lazy bums and all their welfare. Of course, they didn't get into that on CNN, but Presley's welcome to come here. I'd like to talk to her about it. All right. It's Monday. Did you wake up aching and in some pain, doing some things over the weekend? Maybe you were playing tennis or pickleball. Maybe you were cleaning out the garage. Who knows? Maybe you were just making the bed and all of a sudden your back hurts. If you're in pain, go see Dr. Appleton. Appointments are not necessary. Walk-ins are welcome, and the consultation is free. If you're in pain, you don't have to be. Dr. Appleton's robotic laser Treats every type of pain I've ever heard of. Stenosis, neck pain, tennis elbow, tinnitus, strains, sprains, sciatica, muscular contraction, lumbar pain, hip pain, knee pain, bursitis, bronchial neuralgia, arthritis, pains related to car accidents. It treats all these things and so many more. Anytime I go to Dr. Appleton's, I run into listeners, and they're always telling me different types of pains. Every time I talk to a listener, I find out about a new kind of pain. Living in pain is not something you have to do, and you can be pain-free without surgery, without shots, without injections, without taking pain medications by going to see Dr. Appleton. Give him a call and say bye-bye to your pain. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. That's 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonCairo.com. We'll be right back. Okay. Awesome. Okay, we will be back in a couple of minutes. If you're on hold, well, you know what? Let me take a call during the break. What the heck? We got time. Let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, it's John from Sunnyvale, California. Hey, look at how quickly the MAGA crowd turned Democratic, supporting Democrats in New York City. Oh my God!
Why do you think we're doing that?
You're flipping. You don't care about anybody except yourself.
No, we're supporting.
Yeah.
You're supporting
communists. You're supporting the Democrats. You're a communist, bro.
Okay, whatever.
Yes, you are a communist, bro. You know exactly
bro?
what that fascism is. Yeah,
Why are
bro.
you singing when you talk? Why do you sing when you talk?
What?
You're singing. You're a communist, bro. You're singing. Yeah, you're singing.
You're literally the one yelling communist. You're literally calling. You're gonna say stupid Democrats. So how do I call you idiot?
No, you're singing when you talk. Why do you think? Why do you think we're supporting Cuomo over Mamdani?
You're a clown, dog. You're on a show, dude.
And so are you. You're on a show too.
You're supporting communism.
What communism am I supporting?
Look at the MAGA crowd. Oh my God, the biggest communist out there.
Who's the biggest communist?
Donald Trump.
What about Donald Trump as communist?
Everything, apparently.
Well, pick up his biggest communist thing. What's his most communist thing that he's doing?
Seizing the means of production, looks like.
What means of production has he seized?
Look at you.
What means? Oh, now he's Beavis and Butthead. What means of production has he seized?
You bended. Holy dude, Brian, you bended so quickly. Like literally, you guys.
What means of production did he seize?
Bended.
All right, take care. All right, whatever. He cannot compute. He sounds like he's stoned on weed. All right, we'll be back in about 25 seconds. Stand by. Oh boy. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. We'll take a call or two, then we'll get back into the issues. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Ryan, and I'm calling right now from Houston, Texas.
All right, Houston. What's up?
Hey, I want to step back to where you were talking about Dearborn, Michigan, and those Muslims out there. I just actually wanted to make a statement, if that's possible. Muslim and Islam is not a religion; it's a terrorist organization. A lot of people don't realize that. A lot of people don't realize, the Hell's Angels actually have a church, and they are considered to have a religious
whatever.
exemption.
But that's I don't know if I agree with that, but I'm not interested in debating that.
Well, I'm just stating a fact.
I don't know. Isn't it nice to not have opinions but have facts? Wow. Must be nice just to not have opinions. Everything you say and do and think is fact. That's pretty.
Do a little research. You'll see what I'm saying.
I don't need to do research. I live my life. It could be both.
Well, I've done the research myself.
No, you've done the research. Where did you? I'm not talking about that. What'd you do? What do you mean you've done your research? What did you do your scholarly research?
Well, let's see here. I used to live up in Angels Camp, which was actually formed by the Hells Angels.
Okay.
So I know for
that's
a fact
that's not research. That's life experience, which is better than
life. Okay, life experience.
You've lived. If what you said is true, you've lived it.
Okay, well, you know what I'm going to do to you what you do to most people. Have a good day.
No, I'm going to hang up on you first. Oh my goodness. All right, so the tide has turned in New York against Mamdani. It's pretty bad. It's been about 2 weeks. Every day has been a negative story, including Saturday Night Live. Saturday Night Live did something that they don't do very often. They ridiculed a Democrat. And they did a skit over the weekend that was a skit on the debate with Mamdani, Curtis Sliwa, and Cuomo. And they were ridiculing Mamdani. They made comments like, well, when I don't have an answer, I'll just smile till it hurts. And then the guy smile. They had Mamdani on Saturday Night Live saying, well, going through his list of crap he's promising and say, we'll find out together if I'm allowed to do it, or all these things. They were ridiculing him on Saturday Night Live. It's not a good sign. When Steve and I talk about this a lot. When a politician becomes the object of ridicule, that's when it's over. So things have turned. Now, I want to play a clip here that I played in the pre-show. I want to play it for you guys in a moment. But I want to tell you something. I meant to mention this earlier, and I'd forgotten. When I went to Orlando this weekend, I was wearing my Trump 2028 hat. And around my hotel, which is a tourist hotel, and oh my goodness, the Trump derangement among the tourists to Florida is a beautiful thing to see. I love it. I'm walking around the hotel with my Trump 2028 hat, and these people are none of them told me to go anything to myself, but they would stop in their tracks, stare at me, and then silently judge me. And then after we walked by each other, I could hear them mumbling about me. It was hilarious. And I was at the hotel I was at. They had a Starbucks, and this Saturday morning, I'm getting my coffee from Starbucks, and there were these two guys who didn't know each other. They weren't together. There was a confusion on the coffee orders because both of them are named Craig. And I'm waiting for my coffee, and there's some confusion going on, and they realized both of them were named Craig, and they were laughing. And I said, "Oh, my name's Craig too. It's my last name." We're three Craigs at Starbucks together at the same time, and they were laughing. And then I turned around and said, "Well, my first name's Brian. My last name's Craig." They saw my Trump 2028 hat. They stopped laughing and got dead serious. It was hilarious. I tell you, this there's nothing like the idea of Trump running for president again. That it's just something about that just freaks out people on the left. Just the thought that Trump is coming back in 2028 for a third term just freaks them out, man. And I don't care about the stairs. They're in Florida, okay? This is where the president lives. So Mamdani's had nothing but bad news day after bad news day, okay? And it's been getting worse every day. The Saturday Night Live over the weekend and everything else. And he has not received any endorsement from the top Democrats. Obama did not endorse him. Chuck Schumer did not endorse him. And Hakeem Jeffries did not endorse him. In fact, Hakeem Jeffries went so far to say, when asked, that he said that Mamdani is not the future of the Democrat Party. Whoa, isn't that something? So Mamdani was out in the streets of New York, and a CNN reporter went up to him, and he revealed something that I don't think he meant to reveal.
Hakeem Jeffries was asked this morning if you're the future of the Democratic Party. He said no.
Good to know.
Do you have a response?
No, I'm focused on the next 2 days.
Do you think you're the future of the Democratic Party?
I don't dare predict the future. That's why I'm out here canvassing to deal with my anxiety to get through the tape of the future of 9 p.m. on Tuesday.
You hear what he said? I'm out here canvassing to get through my anxiety. That's what he said. Listen.
Do you have a response?
No, I'm focused on the next 2 days.
Do you think you're the future of the Democratic Party?
I don't dare predict the future. That's why I'm out here canvassing to deal with my anxiety to get...
I'm out here canvassing to deal with my anxiety. So I've told you guys a week ago, when he told that story that was totally made up about the aunt with the hijab after 9/11, and I told you he's having an anxiety attack. He's having an anxiety attack. And I said that a week ago today, first thing at the top of the show. And here we have an acknowledgement of it. And he said it. He's out there canvassing to deal with his anxiety. So the exit polling from early voting and the internal polling from Zohran's campaign is telling him that he's in trouble. So this is, if it weren't for Curtis Sliwa, we'd have this locked up. But he is in a panic by his own admission. He is dealing with anxiety, making it difficult for him to function. He can only deal with it by going out in public and having people fawn all over him. And even then he's being asked tough questions by CNN. So Zohran here, his internal polling and exit polling is telling him that he's losing. Really, I mean, listen, I'm out here dealing with my anxiety.
Good to know.
Do you have a response?
No, I'm focused on the next 2 days.
Do you think you're the future of the Democratic Party?
I don't dare predict the future. That's why I'm out here canvassing to deal with my anxiety to get through the tape of the future of 9 p.m. on Tuesday.
Wow. He's having an anxiety attack. If you're on hold, stand by. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. Back after this. All right, we'll be back in just a couple of minutes, guys.
I'm excited to announce that we're having our biggest 3-in-1 sale ever with a limited edition product, a back-in-stock special, and a closeout deal you won't find anywhere else. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get our MyPillow bed sheets, only $29.88. Any color, any style, any size, even kings. Regular $119.98, only $29.88. Once they're gone for good. How about our My Towels? They're finally back in stock, but not for long. Get a 6-piece My Towel set, regular $69.98, now only $39.98. And for the first time and the only time ever, get our limited edition premium My Pillows. They're made with Giza cotton and designer gusset. Queen $17.98, Kings only $19.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get the best offers ever. Quantities are extremely limited, so order now.
All right, we'll be back shortly, guys. If you're on hold, hang in there. If you're watching with the green behind, we're in a radio station break right now. If you go to the main stream, you can see all the audio and video. I'm going to wait till we get back to take these calls. We'll be back in a little more than a minute. Yeah, he's definitely having some bad internal polling that he's seeing that we're not seeing. We'll be back in 1 minute. The men's room story is very real. Yeah, I told it right when it happened on my other YouTube channel, my Main Street Moments channel. I couldn't believe it. Yeah, everything I tell you is true. You're welcome to call in. That's why I give out the phone number. 30 seconds, we'll be back. Welcome back. I'm Brian. We've just passed over the halfway mark of today's Steve Kane radio show. Welcome back. We'll go to the phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Oh, good morning.
Yes.
Oh, hey, it's Joan from Tampa Bay. How you doing?
All right, Joan. What's on your mind?
Well, I have a friend over in the UK that lives in Nottingham. And he went down to London for that big march.
Yeah, hold on one second, Joan, while I'm answering all these lines. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
I have a friend that lives in Nottingham, and he went down to
London for
Yep. For that big march. He said, well, basically, he used more colorful language, that country is hell in a handbasket.
It's over. It's fallen. England has fallen.
That's what he says. And I told him, we know it here already. It's horrible.
Yeah.
And now they had the stabbing. They had the stabbing after I talked to him. So I'll give him a buzz this week and see what he thinks about that. But
I'm sure he thinks the bad. It's a bad thing. I mean, yeah, I know, Joan. It's terrible, and that's what's going to happen to New York City if Mamdani wins tomorrow.
That is so true. That is so true. But I don't know. They are what they are. They do what they do. I don't know.
Okay.
And whatever they deserve. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, I mean, England did this to themselves, right? You're on the air.
Hello?
What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, how you doing? I'm Vinny. I'm from New Haven.
All right, Vinny, what's on your mind?
Well, I would like to talk to you about a little bit about Zohran, the rent control, and also there's a little bit about globalism that I'd be interested to hear Brian's take.
Well, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Oh, all right. So, hey, Brian, what I'm thinking is first and foremost, I'm just extremely confused as to why anyone would vote for Zohran. I mean, first and foremost, this policy about rent control. I mean, haven't we seen the effects of rent control? I mean, has he ever heard of the Bronx, the Bronx housing crisis in the 70s? I mean,
just go to Cuba. They had Cuba. Everything he's talking about, Castro brought to Cuba, and look how that turned out. Oh, hold on. Look how that turned out for Cuba.
Any of these communist policies, all you have to do is look at any country in the 20th century.
Latin America, they have all these communist countries in Latin America. That's why it's a third world pit of hell, where they're desperate to come to America. All right. Okay, we lost the connection there, but I don't know if that was a tragedy or not. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Morning, Brian. It's Taj.
Hey, Taj.
I want to I know I called you last week about this, but I have some family in India, and I sent them this following statement on a group chat we had. In New York City on Tuesday, there will be an election for mayor of the city. The city may elect its first Muslim mayor. While that sounds great, it will be horrible. We should not vote for someone just because they are Muslim. We have to vote on the policies. Zohran Mamdani, the candidate, is labeled as a Democrat, but he is a communist. The Democratic Party in the whole USA has become more socialist communist in recent years. Mamdani wants to increase taxes in the city on the richest by 2%, but the top 2% of earners in the city already pay 33% of all the taxes for the city. This is on top of all the state and federal taxes, so their overall tax rate will become more than 50%. The rich will leave the city and come to Florida, which is a state tax-free state. Mamdani wants to seize the means of production and said so. This is the same way that the old Soviet Union used to do.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to have government-run grocery stores, the same way that communist countries used to have bread lines. He wants to have rent control. He thinks there is a limit to the amount of money someone should be able to make and have. He wants to defund the police. He says he is a Muslim, but he wants to legalize prostitution. He believes in abortion. He believes it's okay. He believes in giving privileges, special privileges, to gays and transgender people. He wants to disproportionately tax property of white people more than people of color. This is not our Islam. He is giving a really bad example of Muslims in our country, and we have to all get along, all people, all religions. In America, we are one people. We have to live and let live. So if Mamdani wins, it will not be a celebration. It will be the start of a communist disaster, the same way Cuba, Venezuela, China, North Korea. When communism comes, societies fall. Our Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was not a socialist or a communist. He was a commerce man, a businessman, a capitalist, in addition to everything else he accomplished in his life. If people are taxed to death, there will be no money left for life or zakat, which is our charity giving.
Mm-hmm.
And then I told him that I'm very upset about all this if he wins, and I'm glad I don't live in New York.
Yeah. Well, I broke one of, Steve Kane does not have very many rules, but I broke one of them now. So if he's, I might get in trouble. But the reading on the air, we never allow that. But I let you do it. And I let you do it because, you don't call me, you're Muslim. And everything you said is 100% true. Everything you shared in that message you read is 100% accurate. But that's the least of the problem with Mamdani. I mean, as a Muslim, you must be aware that he wants to Islamify New York City in the way that the Muslims have Islamified Dearborn, Michigan. And that's a real problem for us in the United States. What are your thoughts on that?
And I'm against that as well, I got to tell you. I mean, we don't hear church bells ringing all hours of the day. People have to respect each other, and you have the right to practice religion, but your religion cannot interfere with the rights of other people. It's not what any of us want. And the people who are moderate like me, I'm trying to speak out because I'm tired of the same way it is with the left and some people on the right. It's like the 1% of the fringe crazies get all of the time on the air. And it's like,
well, because I'll tell you, because those are the ones we got to worry about. If these people that Mamdani is not like you, Taj. Mamdani is a very dangerous man.
I don't even want him to be in my same company.
No. He's a very scary man. First off, he's a boob. He's a front. This guy's an idiot.
My God.
So he he's not going to be the one running New York if he were to win. Not him. Whoever's behind him will be the ones running
New York.
New
Him being in the company of that same guy, of that imam, I'm going to tell you, when I go to mosque, I try to go and take my dad with me every Friday that I'm off. We don't hear that any of these people talk about this. It's the same kind of message because my wife is Catholic, and I take her to church sometimes, and the messaging is the same. The fringe lunatics get all the time. We need to have more moderate voices speak up, and it upsets me when I don't hear it.
Well, the thing about Mamdani that's so scary is who's behind him. I mean, he is so bad that the top Democrats have not endorsed him. Obama's not endorsed him. Hakeem Jeffries has not endorsed him and attacked him. Governor Hochul has attacked his tax policies in the last couple days. Schumer hasn't endorsed him. He's so bad and so dangerous. Even these lunatic Democrats aren't endorsing him. But I think the reason that they haven't endorsed him is because they've seen the internal polling, and they think he's either going to lose or has a good chance of losing, and they don't want to back a loser. That's what I think. So that's good news. If that's true, which I hope it is, that's good news.
Yes.
By the way, is Hakeem Jeffries Muslim? Is Hakeem Jeffries Muslim? Do you know?
I have no idea, but I don't know why there's not more. We used to be a lot of Muslims in the community I know were Republican. I just don't know why they don't speak up.
Well, the reason I ask if Hakeem Jeffries is Muslim.
Democrats.
Well, no, Hakeem Jeffries. Well, he's one of the leaders of the Democrat Party. Not only has he not endorsed Zohran, he has said that he is not the future of the Democrat Party, and that unendorsement and attack and criticism is hardcore important because he's the Democrat leader in the House of Representatives, but if he's Muslim, it's even more important. I don't know. Does anyone know if he's Muslim? Well, Taj, thanks for the call. You made a lot of good points. You always do. You're a very good caller. You've been calling us a long time. All right, take care. Taj has been calling this program for many years, and he's MAGA Muslim. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Oh, okay. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, it's Vinny again from New Haven.
Vinny, it's one call. It's one call per show. One call per show. All right, call me another day. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
It's Jessica. Good morning, Brian.
Hey, Jessica.
I wish you could have asked a moderate Muslim, how does he feel about his people becoming the majority on most of the European nations that were a Christian nation? And how does he feel about that?
I will next time. Yeah, that's a good question.
I feel other question that I have for them, if they continue calling, is why, if they're Muslims, why are they continuing going to Christian nations to live in Christian? Wouldn't that be
the answer is easy?
Something?
The answer is easy: to conquer them.
Well, yeah. So it speaks very, very.
Come on. That's what it is. Europe has been conquered. Most of Europe has fallen, and there's big areas of the United States. You know, I don't know if that clip I played of Dearborn, Michigan, earlier in the show is what's coming to New York.
But they continue going to Christian nations and wanting to change.
Well, those are the ones they want to conquer. They already have the Muslim nations, so now they want the Christian ones.
I understand the guy that he's a moderate, but honestly, they continue going to Christian nations and wanting to change that, and I don't support that. Even if you're a moderate, I don't support that. I don't support Muslims going to Christian nations and wanting to change their culture, their beliefs.
Well, it's what I said earlier. The Muslim immigrants are unlike any other group of immigrants around the world. When they go to a country, they want the country to assimilate to them, not the other way around. And they're like the Borg. They assimilate. They're like the Borg in Star Trek. They come and assimilation is necessary. And if you don't assimilate, well, you're in trouble.
You're in trouble, and that's what's happening everywhere in Europe. Look what's happening in Nigeria.
It's already happened in Europe. It's already happened in Europe.
Yeah, it's crazy, and I believe that the reason why Christianity or Christians here in the United States are a little bit hesitant is because we see what's happening around the world with them, and they're coming here, and I want to know if he supports Iman, the lady from Wisconsin. She supports Mamdani. Mm-hmm. She openly supports Mamdani. Yeah. And all the Muslims in Michigan support Mamdani as well.
That's right. Well, listen, I gotta run, but for the break, I'm late, but I appreciate the call. If you're on hold, stand by. I want to talk about coastal weight loss secret. I was talking earlier how I went to Universal Orlando for Halloween Horror Nights, and I walked around that park for about 9 hours on Saturday alone. I was walking all weekend, but Saturday. And this was I did not realize this until towards the end of the night. I've been going to the theme parks in Orlando my entire life, even before I lived in Florida. This was the first time I went and walked through an entire theme park for hours and hours, and I wasn't tired at the end of the day. In fact, not only was I not tired, my feet didn't hurt and my legs didn't hurt. It's because I've lost all this weight. It was the first time since I was a kid that I went to a theme park when I was the right weight. And it was amazing. It really felt good, and it's because I've lost all this weight, thanks to Coastal Weight Loss Secret. Give them a call, and remember, they can help you no matter where you're located in the United States. It's a perfect time to do it because we're in holiday. It's November. You want to look good for the holidays. You're going to see people you see once a year, every 5 years, or every 20 years. You want to look great and feel great like I do. Give Coastal Weight Loss Secret a call and schedule your no-charge consultation. Again, no matter where you are in the United States, they can help you. 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. That's 561-247-6300. And online, coastalweightlosssecret.com. We'll be right back. If you're on hold, hang in there. All right, if you're on hold, stand by. I'm going to go to the phones when we get back. Just over a minute. Things are going well, guys. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. We're on a radio station break right now. We'll be back shortly. If you're watching with the green wall behind me, if you go to my main stream, you can see and hear all the audio, video that I play, as well as the images. There's a direct link in the description. $30 seconds. All right, we're back. I'm Brian. Let's take a call or two. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Tom from Florida.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
How you doing,
Tom.
Brian? Hey, let me ask you a quick question. Why is it that this is now a legitimate Christian nation when this is a melting pot in America?
It is a Christian, Judeo-Christian nation. Judeo-Christian.
All right. I mean, we got all different types of religion and people and everything. It's just odd how we're sending.
Yeah,
troops
but
over to Africa
the
now.
thing is, they don't. If you go to the areas where the Muslims have taken over, they don't get into a melting pot. They assimilate and turn it into wherever it is they came from. You know this.
All right. So I just don't understand how we got to come up with an enemy, and it's the Muslims now. We're sending soldiers over to Africa.
What do you mean
Yeah, it's
now?
horrible what's going
Who attacked us on 9/11? Who attacked the USS Cole? What do you mean now? And we're not going to war. They've come to war with us.
I just want everybody to remember that this is America.
No
This
kidding.
Is a place for hey man, you can even be an atheist and live here.
Anybody can
So,
make
you
it.
know,
Even you can make it here. All right, Tom, take care. Oh, my goodness, pathetic. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. Once, twice. All right, the rest of you on hold, stand by. I want to go to this. This is a poll dropped over the weekend on CNN.
Democrats at this point are historically divided. It is a complete and utter mess. It is messier than a hoarder's basement. What are we talking about here? The national early poll leader, 25% plus. Normally, that's where Democrats are. Biden was at 25% plus in 2020. Hillary Clinton was in 08 and 16. Gore was in 00 and 04. At this particular point, there is no one in the Democratic race for president who's polling at 25% plus. The water is quite warm. If you're a Democrat potentially thinking about running in 2028, jump right in, because at this point, there is no front runner.
Yeah, well, they have no runners. They got no one. And, you know, this Mamdani race is really fantastic, because everything you see shows that the Democrats' internal polling show he's losing. Listen, the Democrats are losers, and they know it. They're desperate for a win. And the reason the top Obama, Schumer, and Hakeem Jeffries and Hochul have not endorsed him, in fact, in Hakeem Jeffries' case, they've attacked him, because they're looking at the internal polls from the Democrat Party, and they're saying Mamdani's not winning. That's good news. That's good news. Oh, man, I hope to be able to open the show up Wednesday, and it's crazy to say this, and find out Cuomo's the mayor. It'd be better if Sliwa was, but, you know. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Frank. Brian. It's Frank in Titusville, Florida. I'm actually dealing with some Orlando traffic, so I hope it's not too much noise here. But I just wanted to respond to that caller that you just had that was all opposed to America being a Christian nation. And what he doesn't understand is that whole concept of freedom of religion is a Christian principle. I mean, because the God of the Bible, he does not force himself on other people. That's why you see that image of Jesus knocking on people's doors. Now, the same cannot be said about Islam. If you go into Saudi Arabia and you try to preach anything other than Islam, they will take your head off for it. So that's what he doesn't understand, is that we actually have the freedom in this country, but that's a God-given freedom. We don't have to worship God. There are consequences in the afterlife, but he doesn't understand that that is a freedom that is Christian-based.
That's right. Yeah, you're absolutely correct. Yeah. Well, Tom's a loser. Okay. If you ever heard his calls
I agree,
before.
but I just wanted other people that are listening to this program to understand that was because of biblical principles that we have that freedom in the Constitution.
That's correct. That's correct. All right. Appreciate the call. You made some good points. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm Michael from Bryce Lake.
Okay, Bryce Lake. All right, Michael. What's on your mind?
I'm really scared about Zobin Zombobby, man.
Yeah, well, okay, well, grab your mommy and your soy milk and you'll get through it. Now, I want to talk about Life Imaging FLA. You guys know a few weeks back I went in and had the full scan, the heart scan, the cancer scan, the body scan, all of it. Did you know that in America and around the world, the coronary artery disease is the #1 killer? That's right. 1/3 of the time, the first event is sudden death. But you know, it's a completely preventable disease. In the past 30 years since coronary artery scanning was invented, over 4 million have died without any warning. Most of them could have been saved. Multiple studies show that looking inside the body with CT scans can significantly reduce cancer deaths too. Life Imaging FLA, this is amazing, okay? 80% of people who come to Life Imaging FLA are just fine, like me, and you get peace of mind, which is life-changing. I didn't share this with you until I went over to Life Imaging FLA, but for many years, I've lived with the constant fear that I was going to have a heart attack. In fact, I just assumed I was going to have a heart attack and die in my 50s, and I'm 54. Because I've had high cholesterol, and all my doctors have told me for years that I'm going to have a heart attack and die. That's why I have so much life insurance. You've heard me talk about many times that I have a lot more insurance than most people, a lot. And I'm still going to keep it. I want my family to be set up. But the reason I have so much life insurance is because I thought I was going to be dead in my 50s of a heart attack. And I go over to Life Imaging FLA and find out I have no blockage and no plaque. Oh, and by the way, I have no cancer either. However, while 80% of the people who go in for scans are like me, that means 20% find something. You don't want to be a statistic, all right? Call Life Imaging FLA for your free heart scan now with a few minimum requirements valued at $699. Wow, pretty good deal, huh? They have locations in Broward, Palm Beach, and Miami. From your cell phone, call pound 250 and say free heart scan. That's pound 250 and just say free heart scan. You'll be connected in seconds. Pound 250 on your cell phone and say free heart scan. That's pound 250 and say free heart scan. We'll be right back after this. Now, remember, guys, I have my big My Pillow meeting today. I'm going to find out if My Pillow is going to continue their sponsorship of the expansion of the show. So go to mypillow.com, use my promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, do your Christmas shopping, and let Mike Lindell know that you're supporting this program and him.
I'm excited to announce that we're having our biggest 3-in-1 sale ever with a limited edition product, a back-in-stock special, and a closeout deal you won't find anywhere else. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get our MyPillow bed sheets, only $29.88. Any color, any style, any size, even kings, regular $119.98. Only $29.88. Once they're gone for good. How about our My Towels? They're finally back in stock, but not for long. Get a 6-piece My Towel set, regular $69.98, now only $39.98. And for the first time and the only time ever, get our limited edition premium My Pillows. They're made with Giza cotton and designer gusset. Queen $17.98, King's only $19.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get the best offers ever. Quantities are extremely limited, so order now.
All right. If you're on hold, stand by. Perfect. Bless you. We'll be back in 1 minute, guys. 1 minute. Oh, man. What a great day. What a great day. Thirty seconds, guys. Welcome back. The third hour has begun. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. Welcome back. We've got so much to cover still as the clock is ticking in the final hour. If you're on hold, stand by. So I want to go through some of the highlights from this great interview that the president did on 60 Minutes with a very old Norah O'Donnell. I haven't watched 60 Minutes in a long time. When was the last time Trump was on? 5 years, however long. I watch 60 Minutes when President Trump is on, and that's pretty much it. And I think that's true for most people who watches this show anymore. But he looked great. President Trump looked better than Norah O'Donnell, didn't he? Oh my goodness. But that's not saying a lot. Sorry, President Trump. She looked awful. I mean, she is really scary looking. I remember when she was like a kid on there. Now she's just some old lady who offers no value. But President Trump, he did a great job. She's asking him all kinds of questions. He's giving great answers.
Will be at the top of the Republican ticket. Can you set the record straight? You're not going to try and run for a third term?
Well, I don't even think about it. I will tell you, a lot of people want me to run.
I do.
But the difference between us and the Democrats is we really do have a strong bench. I don't want to use names because it's, inappropriate, but it's too early.
But people do like when you start talking about whether you like J.D. Vance or Secretary Rubio.
I do like J.D. Vance. I like Marco Rubio. I like so many people. We have an unbelievable bench.
Mr. President, can
Now, Norah O'Donnell, like many liberals, total panic over the idea that President Trump is going to run for a third term in 2028. And she says, well, people like it when you talk about J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio. There is a panic in the mainstream media. They're asking President Trump almost every day now if he's going to run in 2028. He says a lot of people want him to. I do, Mr. President. Please run in 2028. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, good morning, Brian. It's Greg.
Hey, Greg.
Listen, hey, you know what? I thought it was really interesting that you actually watched the 7th game of the World Series. And that Yamamoto, I have one question for you. Why did it make that performance so riveting? Why was he MVP of the series?
Oh, I don't know. I guess I don't know. I don't know enough about the game. I never heard of him. I first heard of Yamamoto.
But you watched the game. And
I watched it.
mentioned
No,
many
I
times
was,
on the broadcast.
I tell you, you guys, people like
Well, let me tell you what.
No,
Let me tell you what. The
slow
man-
down.
the man-
I want to respond to what you said first, and then you can get to your thing.
The man won.
Okay, finish your thought, then I'll talk, I guess.
All right.
Boy.
I'll let you know why it was so extraordinary. And by the way...
No, by the way, you got to get to it.
Wait. Let me
Get
finish
to
my
it.
thought. You don't let me finish my thought. Okay. He won 3 World Series games out of 7.
Okay.
Unheard of. Never accomplished.
Good.
Before.
See, here's the thing. Okay, this is a couple things.
Good.
I watched the game in part. I watched part of the game on an iPhone while I was walking around Halloween Horror Nights, okay, with my daughter. I have never heard of Yamamoto, the baseball player, until Saturday night, like, I don't know what time it was, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, I don't know what time it was, 9:30.
The game ended 11.
Okay, well, then it was a 9:30, 9 o'clock. I was busy having fun. I wasn't paying attention to the time. And I remember, Tom Selleck. You know Tom Selleck? Magnum P.I., Blue Bloods. He had a very funny movie, which is kind of a forgotten movie. It probably bombed.
You're off the beaten path again.
No, I'm hosting the show. I decide what the path is, okay?
Because it's weird.
It's not weird.
Tom Selleck now?
Well, I'll tell you why. He made a movie that it had to bomb because nobody remembers it, called Mr. Baseball. You ever heard of this movie?
No.
Okay. He played Tom Selleck, and I believe it's called Mr. Baseball. I could be wrong about the name, but I think it's Mr. Baseball. He plays a guy he plays in the major leagues. I want to say the Yankees, but I could be wrong. He plays in the major leagues. Anybody remember what team he played for? And he got cut for whatever reason. So the movie, it's a comedy drama movie. The only team that'll pick him up is a Japanese baseball team on the professional league in Japan. So he goes to Japan to play baseball. And it's a funny movie because Tom Selleck's a big, tall guy and everything's too small for him. It's a very funny movie. I saw it like once on cable 100 years ago. But now a couple things have happened. We're losing our country, right? We got this Muslim guy who may become the mayor of New York City tomorrow night. And we have the Japanese coming over here, becoming the MVP of our baseball, and he's got the same name as the guy that planned and executed the attack on Pearl Harbor, Yamamoto. And I'm just telling you, on different fronts, we're losing our country, our culture, and our identity.
First of all, you are so. You know what you are? You are like. You're insane right now. We're losing our country because, by the way, foreigners dominate a lot of our sports right now. You don't even know sports. But the best basketball player is from Europe.
Uh-huh.
The second best is from another one from Paris.
But when we need, when we need
let me finish. Let me say,
when you need the Japanese to get us through a World Series, and you got a Muslim guy who's may become mayor this week of New York, we're losing our country and our culture.
We are not losing our country. That's called assimilation. You know what?
But we're the ones getting assimilated.
Let me finish.
We're the ones getting assimilated.
Brian, you know what the difference between me and your other callers, the ones that are less intelligent? You don't let me talk. The others can go on ad nauseum reading their 5-paragraph little intro or whatever.
Well, he was interesting. Taj was interesting.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you this other question. If this mayoral election is so important, and you say the Trumps are loved, right?
Yes.
Donald Trump is loved by them. Why isn't he campaigning in New York City? Why isn't Don Jr.? Why isn't Eric Trump?
New York City is the city that tried to put him in prison multiple times. He doesn't have fans.
That was Letitia.
He doesn't have fans.
That was Letitia. You're telling me they're American? So you're saying Donald Trump is not
what about
loved by
Bragg?
New Yorkers?
No, Bragg went after him too.
Brand, those are two individuals. You're telling me Americans.
Bragg, they're both elected in New York. They're both elected in New York.
They don't even know who they're electing. And
all right, I appreciate the call. I mean, there are very few instances of Brian Craig derangement syndrome, but Greg has it, doesn't he? Yeah, he absolutely does. By the way, does this MVP speak English? I don't know. All right, here's another clip of our president from the 60 Minutes interview. If you're on hold, hang in there.
More recently, Americans have been watching videos of ICE tackling a young mother, tear gas being used in a Chicago residential neighborhood, and the smashing of car windows. Have some of these raids gone too far?
No, I think they haven't gone far enough because we've been held back by the judges, by the liberal judges that were put in by Biden and by Obama.
You're okay with those tactics?
Yeah, because you have to get the people out. You know, you have to look at the people. Many of them are murderers. Many of them are people that were thrown out of their countries because...
It's a great thing about Trump. One of the many great things. He does all the right things. When he's questioned on it, he doesn't apologize for it. You got to love this. I mean, this is spectacular. No, do you think ICE has gone far enough? No, I don't think they've gone far. I don't think they've gone far enough. Or no, she says, has ICE gone too far? He says, no, I don't think they've gone far enough, Norah O'Donnell. This is the kind of guy you want, right? He's a Republican. He's a conservative. He's the president, and he does what he's going to do and what we elected him to do, and he doesn't apologize for it. Listen to this. This is about Comey and Letitia. Listen to this.
James Comey, John Bolton, Letitia James were all recently indicted. There's a pattern to these names. They're all public figures who have publicly denounced you. Is it political retribution?
You know what? You know who got indicted? The man you're looking at. I got indicted, and I was innocent. And here I am because I was able to beat all of the nonsense that was thrown at me. And yet, when you go after a dirty cop like Comey or a guy like Bolton, who I hear I don't know anything about it. I hear he took records all over the place. Who knows? Letitia James is a terrible, dishonest person, in my opinion.
Did you instruct the Department of Justice to go after
Not in any way, shape, or form. No, you don't have to instruct them because they were so dirty, they were so crooked, they were so corrupt that the honest people we have, Pam Bondi's doing a very good job.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, man. Norah O'Donnell. She doesn't like this interview. It's like they made her do it because Trump had all these things with CBS and 60 Minutes. She did not want to do this interview. And by the way, they did, because of the lawsuit and everything the president had, the entire unedited interview is available online without any edits, which they wouldn't be doing that. If this interview would have been edited and spliced and diced all over creation if Trump hadn't taken them to court. Now, we're welcoming, here this week, we're welcoming a new sponsor to the Steve Kane Show, and I'm talking about George Colony. He is our real estate agent, and he was introduced to us by Tom Laporta from Laporta Roofing. You know, George Colony has over 6 decades of experience in real estate and business. He specializes in every area of real estate: residential, commercial, industrial, office space, retail space, tenant representation, and of course, single-family homes as well. You know, he has bought or sold $5 billion worth of real estate. That's a lot of transactions. That's right. He's also a founder of an 8-figure business. And this is an important point with George Colony. I'm going to give you his number, which is his cell phone number. You can call or text George Colony on his cell phone. So get something to write with. I'm going to give you his number in just a moment. When it comes to your family's financial decisions, for most people, the most important and biggest financial decision they will make is the purchase or the selling of their home. And that's a multi-generational wealth decision you're making. Who are you leaving that decision up to? Your real estate agent, right? Who is your real estate agent and what is their experience? Are they a bartender on the weekend at nights? Are they a housewife that gets into a little bit of real estate when the kids are in school during the day? What were they doing last year for work? Was it real estate? George Colony has over 6 decades of experience. You know, George Colony, when you listen to the recorded commercial, he says, people always ask me, when's the right time to buy or sell real estate? The answer is it's always the right time if you have the right advice. And that's what you'll get with George Colony. Call him. This number rings directly to his cell phone. You can also text him 954-801-7320. 954-801-7320. 954-801-7320 for George Colony. We'll be right back. If you're on hold, hang in there, guys. You guys know what I mean, though, about the baseball, right? Now, in Mr. Baseball, they needed an American to save their baseball. Now we need a Japanese guy to save ours. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. It's just, things are changing. That's for sure. If you're on hold, hang in there. We'll be back in 2 minutes. Mm-hmm. A little more than 30 seconds, we'll be back. If you're on hold, stand by. Oh, my allergies are killing me. I didn't take my allergy medication out of town with me, so I forgot it. I miss a day of it, and it's back. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. Back to our very busy phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Scott. I'm calling from Kansas City.
Hey, Scott. What's on your mind?
Just wanted to bring up some things about a show I call 60 Wasted Minutes. You asked when was the last time Trump was on there. I was curious to myself, wasn't the last time he was on there with Leslie Stahl?
I believe so, yeah. I think that was, like 5 years ago when she said, "You're not spying on you." We can't say that on 60 Minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, and he got up and left, I believe.
No. Well, Leslie Stahl, she didn't come back for the follow-up interview.
Oh, really? Well, I'm not a watcher. The last time I saw 60 Wasted Minutes was specifically to see a story about helping young women who have been victimed by ISIS. But all through that excerpt, they never mentioned that it was Trump who was the architect of ISIS removal.
That's right.
They,
yeah. Well, I would not say that. Well, those
totally dishonest.
Last night it wasn't wasted minutes. It was very productive, and because President Trump was on.
Yeah, I don't know much about Norah O'Donnell. I've seen her heard her a few times on NPR, and that's about it. But yeah,
well, the thing, the thing with Norah O'Donnell, I haven't seen her in many years because I don't watch that fake news crap either. But her whole thing when she started out was she was this young girl doing the news, and now I look at her, it's like Barbara Walters. There, she turned into an old lady, and she has nothing to offer. Her whole, it's like Geraldo Rivera. When he was big and famous, he was some hipster hippie reporter with long hair and wore jeans. Now he's just some old fossil with a cane that is with the establishment. You know what I mean?
Oh, really?
Hey, appreciate the call.
Well,
all right, take care, Kansas City. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brian from Deerfield.
Hey, Brian, what's up?
Hey, Brian, how are you today? Brian, it's fascinating watching this because I've been seeing the fear factor in the Democratic politicians when they're on television. That you can see it in their eyes, you can see it in their reactions. Norah O'Donnell last night, and I was very surprised that 60 Minutes did this. When they cut away, she would ask a question to Trump and cut back and see her reaction to Trump's answer.
Yeah.
You can see that fear. You can see the panic in the political figures on the Democratic side, on the legacy media group, and I'm going to also put in the people that are writing books that are full of lies, like St. Pierre, who was the press secretary to Biden, saying he had all his mental faculties and everything. They all know the tide has changed, and you can see it in their
when
face.
you look at Jean Pierre, they don't want anything to do with her. She thought she was.
No.
I mean, you look at Dana Perino was Bush's press secretary. She makes $50 million a year at Fox. Kelly, who's the other press secretary that's on Outnumbered? I forgot her name. The skinny girl. You know what I'm talking about?
The blonde.
They're all blonde on Fox, except Harris Faulkner.
Oh my God!
You know what I'm talking about? But she's making a lot of money over there too. And Jean Pierre, nobody wants to hire her.
No.
I mean, what is wrong? What has she done so wrong that these liberals don't want this White House Democrat press spokesperson there? She's black. She's a woman. She's gay. She checks off all these boxes, and they don't want her.
She checks off all the boxes, and now because they kind of checked her out, they don't want to be.
They don't want anything to do with her. No.
No, they don't. No, they don't. And they're all starting to kind of look at it. You watch them starting to cut in the deals, and the pressure really starts to come.
Yeah.
But that legacy media and that cover-up we had to deal with, especially in the CNNs and the whole bunch, MSNBC.
Kelly McEnany is who I was trying to think of. McEnany.
That's right. Yeah.
Nobody wants Jean Pierre.
Well, she is terrible. I see. What does she think?
She's done something to piss them off. I don't know what it is. But she did something to piss them off.
Well, is Fetterman too. He's the only guy who has a trace of common sense in him, and they don't want to hear from him either.
Well, don't try. Steve, let me tell you, Steve Kane made a prediction a couple years ago that he was going to run for president. That Fetterman, and now look at him. He's angling to do that.
I think he is. I thought he might be coming over to the Republican Party.
Now, did you hear me? Did you hear me talk about this guy I ran into with the men's room thing earlier?
No, I didn't.
Okay, let me. I want to get your thoughts on this. Let me tell you what happened.
Sure.
I did this early in the first hour. You didn't hear. You haven't heard You haven't been listening for the whole show.
No,
what the hell's the matter with you? What the hell's the matter with you? I started at 5:20 this morning. I started this morning at 5:20. Shame on you.
Wow.
But so listen. I'm at Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Studios Orlando. This is Saturday with my daughter and a friend at Halloween Horror Nights. I'm looking for the men's room, and I can't find the men's room. And by the way, I documented this. I told this story on my other YouTube channel. Okay, so I can't find the men's room. I see this security guard. He's in front of the Men in Black ride that they got there. He's a white guy, 100% American white guy. He's 25 to 27 years old. I asked him. I said, "Hey, can you tell me where the men's room is?" And he said, "Huh?" I said, "The men's room." And he looked very confused. And he said, I'm not kidding. He said, "Do you mean the restroom?" He didn't know what the men's room was.
Really?
He didn't know what the men's room was. And I'm wondering, white American guy, 25 to 27, this gender crap, has it gone so far that they've taken gender out of the men's room? And was this a biological male I was talking to as well, who was like, I didn't think about this until the next day, this part about it. Was I talking to a transgendered person who was trying to be an activist to me by saying there's no men's room? And I think that's what happened. I think I was talking to a transgendered person who doesn't want to acknowledge gender-specific bathrooms.
He was in. You said he's in probably his 20s or so.
25 to 27.
Yeah, that generation.
If they're transgender, they're passing pretty good, because I thought it was a guy. Maybe it was, but I'm wondering which.
Wow.
Did he not know? I don't know what did they not know what a men's room was, or were they doing some activist work on me, like pretending that there's no genders with bathrooms anymore? Well, I don't know.
Do you think he could have recognized who you were?
I've run into listeners at the theme parks before. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think that is. I don't think it was that. No.
Yeah. Unless somebody indicated that, who you were, somebody knew in the crowd or something.
Nah, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know.
This I think from 40 and under, I don't know how you reverse this brainwashing, but
by voting by supporting everything Trump says and does. That's how you do it.
Well, absolutely. And like you say, Brian, he's going to have to run for another term.
Heck yeah.
Just to get all these things locked in, because
did you see the panic with Norah O'Donnell? But people get excited when you say JD or or Mark. She was pushing him. Yeah.
But she's been doing 60 Minutes for, how many years? She's a seasoned reporter, and she's panicked, and you can see it in her face. And that's why I was so surprised I got a look of her reacting to Trump's answer.
Yeah. All right. Appreciate the call, Brian. I got to run. Take care. Now, I want to tell you guys about Friendly Tire in Margate. Oh, man. Friendly Tire has been with us on the Steve Kane Show for many, many years. And they have the lowest prices on new tires you'll find anywhere. And the price that he quotes you was out the door and on the road, meaning that Friendly Tire doesn't charge you to balance the tire, mount your tire, or even dispose of your old tires, okay? You can get brand new tires out the door and on the road for as low as $75 a tire. And remember, that's for common size tires on some of the most popular vehicles on the road today, as low as $75 a tire out the door and on the road. You can get all the name brands you know and love too. Great deals on run flats. Give him a call. He'll give you a quote right over the phone. He also has thousands of good used tires in stock and does tire repairs too. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. Make sure you tell Friendly Mike that you heard about him on the Steve Kane Show. He'll take extra good care of you. 954-977-9445. We'll be right back. What do you guys think? Do you think they didn't know what the men's room was, or was I talking to a transgendered person trying to tell me that there's no gender with bathrooms? Which do you think it was?
I'm excited to announce that we're having our biggest 3-in-1 sale ever with a limited edition product, a back-in-stock special, and a closeout deal you won't find anywhere else. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get our MyPillow bed sheets, only $29.88. Any color, any style, any size, even kings. Regular $119.98, only $29.88. Once they're gone for good. How about our My Towels? They're finally back in stock, but not for long. Get a 6-piece My Towel set, regular $69.98, now only $39.98. And for the first time and the only time ever, get our limited edition premium My Pillows. They're made with Giza cotton and designer gusset. Queens $17.98, Kings only $19.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get the best offers ever. Quantities are extremely limited, so order now.
All right, if you're on hold, hang in there. We'll be back in 2 minutes. If you're on hold, hang in there, guys. One minute, we'll be back. All right, we are back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. We've been covering President Trump and Mamdani. Mamdani over the weekend says he's in a panic about the election, and he's trying to deal with that panic. And I'll share that with you again before the end of the show. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Patrick from Kansas City.
Hey, Patrick.
Hey, Brian. On the gender neutral, or on the gender restrooms, I got something for you. I had to explain to my first grade daughter what trans was, because a student in her class is identifying as trans.
What grade?
I am all
what
for
grade?
First grade.
Oh, my goodness.
She's indoctrinated by her parents, and you can tell right away with the purple hair. But my issue is that we can't control this. We can't stop this. My suggestion is, and I know architects and the construction industry is going towards this anyways, is that more and more I'm seeing gender-neutral restrooms, where they have large restrooms with a common shared washing area where they have sinks.
Yeah, it sounds
like
like
that.
it sounds like a pervert's dream. So they can
It
go in
does,
they
but-
can go in the bathroom and spy on women all day. That's crazy.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, like, for schools, like, I think they're going to have separate toilet rooms with a common hand washing
First
station.
off, that's completely insane. Because listen, I know how I was in school, and I know how boys are. That's crazy. And if you remember, you remember a few years ago, there was a girl who was sexually assaulted and raped in the room by a transgender student in a high school. Remember? And her father went to the school board meeting, and they had the police beat him up, bloody. Remember that? It was So I mean, it's a very dangerous thing.
I agree, and I think there has to be precautions that have to be taken with such a thing. But my issue is this: is we can't stop these kids and these parents from transitioning. And if it's going to exist, and this is my biggest issue with it, is the school told my daughter to lie to us about the child's preferred.
I don't know about that.
restroom
Hold
choice.
on a second. I don't know about that. Can a first grader get breast implants?
I don't know. in this world, honestly.
Can a first grader get a hysterectomy?
I would say no.
Okay, there's all kinds of rules and laws and regulations on all kinds of procedures. We absolutely can regulate underage people getting sex change operations. Absolutely.
Well, we should, but I mean, just the simple fact of them identifying as a different sex is, I don't know how we deal with that without going into the surgeries and stuff like that. And I don't think we're going to be able to change these people. And also, honestly, the first grade. I mean, what first grader thinks about their gender in such a way?
No, here's what it is. How old are you?
how old am I? I'm 46.
46. Okay. Whenever we were in school, there were fads. Like when I was in middle school and high school, we had all kinds of fads, right? Parachute pants and breakdancing, right? And there's other fads too.
Yeah.
And this transgender thing is just a fad. A lot of it is, I when you were in school, you ever had the goth kids? Mostly it was the girls, the goth girls.
Oh yeah, I was right there, man.
Okay, the goth girls. Okay, the goth girls are now trans girls. It's a fad.
No, I agree, but I just don't know how to deal with this other than because my issue is mainly with the school lying to us, and that is kind of taking me to a whole nother level of being furious with this, frustrated with this school. The fact that they're having them lie to us that the kid can use whatever bathroom they feel comfortable
Teachers
with.
have always been I remember I had a teacher when I was in fourth grade. And so fourth grade, I don't know what year how old are you in fourth grade? I remember my fourth grade teacher. So this is like 1979, 1980-ish for me. That's a long time ago. I'm getting old, right? She made a big deal. I remember Ms. Marsh. And I didn't know all about this at the time because I was a child. But you didn't call her Mrs. and you didn't call her Miss. You called her Ms. And she made a big deal about it. And as a grown-up, I now know she was an activist. Ms. is something that, Rush used to call them feminazis. The feminists, you know what Ms. was about as opposed to Miss or Mrs.?
Not really, no.
Okay. Ms., like MZ, the woman can be either married or single, but she's not putting the title of a man on her or being judged because she's not married. And it was an activist thing that teachers did back in the 70s and the early 80s. And they're doing it now. They're just more obvious with their trans flags in the classroom and blue and purple hair and stuff. They've always been activists in the classrooms. That's why I wish Turning Point would spend such a focus on recruiting teachers from their ranks in the colleges they go to, so we can get some decent people in the schools.
I don't know. My issue is that as a safeguard to help prevent my daughter from being exposed to this, and these perverts is what I view it as.
Perverts, yes.
Maybe not in first grade. I think their mind is just bent a little bit. It's not necessarily perversion at that point. I think parents have kind of, polluted their minds with thoughts. And, like I said, one look at the mother, you can tell exactly where the kid got the idea
I'll give you another example. There was years ago, there were controversies about girls in high school coming to school pregnant. And a lot of people thought that that's not a good idea. And high school girls coming to school pregnant, where they got the big belly and are showing, because it's endorsing out of wedlock sex and pregnancy, because they're not married. Come on, And it was, and they made movies and after school specials about these hateful people, these hateful parents and teachers and administration giving the girl a hard time. So what? She's pregnant at 16. She's just trying to make her way. And then look, look what that's done. So none of this stuff belongs in the public schools. The girls that are 6 months pregnant and all this other stuff.
I agree. I just don't know how we fight back against the bathroom thing in regards to kids like that, other than, and I'm seeing this more and more from architects because I'm in the construction industry. They are making separate restroom stalls with full man doors, and then they do a shared hand washing station. Or they're doing the men and women's restroom. And
How about this? If you can pee standing up, you go to the men's room. If you can't pee standing up, you go to the women's room. How about that? That's it.
I would agree, but how do you convince all these crazies who want to integrate this?
Vote MAGA. Vote MAGA. It's going away. It's already evaporating. Look, hey, listen, I got to run, but thanks for the call.
Hope so, because
all right, I got to run, but I appreciate the call. All right, you take care. Great call, great points. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Okay, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. It's JJ from Mass.
Hey, JJ.
Hey, Yeah, interesting. Talking.
Hold on.
listening to
Let me answer all these lines I'm getting here. Hold on. Yeah, go ahead, JJ. I apologize.
No worries. Just a great show. Love a little bit of the banter about sports and so forth. But I'm thinking going back to the pre-show when you had this caller talking about Trump being a communist.
Yes, that's their new talking point.
That's
their new thing they're trying to promote.
We had because we have an Intel investment, and listen, we're not going to have representatives, any federal government members on the board of any publicly traded company. That would be unfair and unethical. But that investment is non-voting stock, number one. So it's passive. We won't have anything to do with it other than the general well-being of the economy, which is what we want for all the boats to rise. And I think we also have a warranty option on it, or some kind of an option for another 5 or 10% within 5 years or something. But that mentality, and I heard it again during the show. Somebody else called in, and these people don't even understand what the hell communism is.
Well, if you notice, I've gotten 2 calls today from liberals saying that I can't support Trump. He's a communist. That they're gonna okay. He's Mr. Monopoly. He's Mr. Capitalist. If that obviously is the new seminar.
Opposite.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you said, it's the exact opposite.
There's obviously this is the new talking point. JJ, I'm really late for the break, and I'm short on time. I got to run, but call me again, okay? Take care. I want to talk about Coastal Weight Loss Secret. I was mentioning earlier when I was at Universal Studios, I realized late at night as we were leaving, I wasn't tired, and we were at the theme park. I don't know, 6, 7, 8 hours. I don't know. I lost track of time, but minimum 7, maybe close to 9 hours. And I wasn't tired and my feet didn't hurt. I was ready to go. And I realized it's because I lost all this weight from Coastal Weight Loss Secret. It was my first time being at a theme park since I had this weight loss. Boy, what a difference it makes energy-wise. This is, what is this unintended consequences? It's a positive one, but I never dreamed that, I know I have more energy, and I'm not getting tired as much and as often, but this was the first, it's just part of going to a theme park. Your feet hurt and you're tired. I wasn't tired. My legs didn't hurt. My feet didn't hurt. I guess because I didn't have as much weight on them. It's holiday season. We are in November, people. It is the 3rd of November. You want to lose that weight and look great before the holiday season. You got plenty of time, even for Thanksgiving. My goal was to lose 25 pounds in a month before our last cruise. I did that in 3 weeks. It's amazing. And my results are typical. Call Coastal Weight Loss Secret no matter where you're located in the United States and schedule your no-charge consultation. 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. And online, coastalweightlossecret.com. We'll be right back. If you're on hold, hang in there. I'm organizing my commercial copy. Hey there, it's Brian. We have about 1 minute. Stand by. Great calls today, guys. $30. All right, and it's time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated with our first look at gold and the precious metals for the week. William Youngerman, how the metals looking this week?
Metals right now look up mostly and rebounding after Friday's losses. Gold on Friday closed at $4,001.10. That was down $22.50 after trading in a range of $3,971 all the way up to $4,045 on Friday. Silver was down 24 cents, closing out the week at $48.60 the ounce. Platinum lost $35, closing out the week at $1,569. And palladium was down $17 at $1,417 the ounce. Overnight, we saw gold trade in a range of $3,962 all the way up to $4,029. And right now, we're at $4,016 on gold, up $15.90. Silver's unchanged right now at $48.60. Platinum is up $16 at $1,585 the ounce. And palladium is up $23 at $14.40. So gold starting off the week up over $4,000. Friday, we just managed to eke out a gain of, or not a gain, but at least staying above the $4,000 number by $1.10. But still, that number seems to be holding with momentary dips below that number, but support coming in around there. So any price around $4,000 seems to be a good buy.
Heck yeah. And, you know, these swings I don't worry about. I know I bring this up a lot because I think it's something new. We're at these historic numbers with gold per ounce, and bigger swings are just, that's going to be part of it, right? I mean, I don't think anybody should be, if I hear $50, so what? We're $4,000 here. You know what I mean? It's just a new, it's a new level. Now, you were telling us, I want to see what what's going on as we start the week. When it comes to gold, how's pre-33 gold looking as a buy right now?
Pre-33 is a amazing buying opportunity. It still remains. You can buy the old $20 gold double eagles, U.S. gold coins made prior to 1933. In fact, many of them we have back in the 1800s.
Wow.
And you can buy those for literally just 1% over the gold value.
Wow, and that's gold.
That's gold.
That's gold. Okay, now silver. We were talking. There's some great things going on with silver. The price is awesome. And how's the 90% silver looking this week?
90% silver is at a bargain level still. You can buy, Steve Kane listeners can buy silver coins from us pre-1933 for $1 under the spot price of silver. So great savings there also on 90% silver, dimes, quarters, and half dollars. And
those, and can you, that's silver. Can you explain to people, you know, you just said it, but can you tell people it's 90% silver? So these coins, they're quarters, half dollars, dimes, and is that it? Or is there another one I leave out?
That's it, yes.
Yeah, and 90% of those coins are actual silver. So you're getting silver for, how much did you say again?
$1 less than the spot price of silver. So you're actually buying silver for less than the price of silver by buying these coins.
You're getting silver for less than silver. I heard you say it the first time, but I couldn't get myself to say it. I had to hear you say it again. I've never heard that before. That's a great deal. So that is silver, guys. Take advantage. William Youngerman opens up at 10 a.m. Give him a call, 1-800-327-5010. 1-800-327-5010. Stop in. His address is 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca, on the first floor of the Bank of America building, immediately east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of the street. And you can find both his address and phone number on his website, williamyoungerman.com. All right, William Youngerman, we'll talk tomorrow.
Okay, have a great day.
All right, take care. All right, we are back. And, okay, a couple things. Mamdani is in a panic. And I've been documenting this throughout the show. Linda Sarsour, this is amazing. This is the headline on Fox News. This is a total sign of desperation on Mamdani's part. Listen to this. Linda Sarsour, who's one of the most radical Palestinian Muslim people in the United States, Linda Sarsour tells followers she will hold Zohran accountable if he wins. So notice how they're trying to position that he's not with her, right? That there's radical. She's radical, he's not, and they're not in tune. Don't believe any of that. And then there was this clip I played earlier that I want to play one more time before the end of the show. Zohran himself has admitted that he's in a panic. I've been telling you guys since last weekend, since last Monday. I've told you he's suffering. He's in a state of anxiety. That his exit polls and internal pollings are showing that he's in trouble. Either he's losing or he's not ahead by very much. And he confesses to CNN that he is suffering from anxiety. Listen, this is yesterday in the streets of New York on CNN.
Hakeem Jeffries was asked this morning if you're the future of the Democratic Party. He said no.
Good to know.
Do you have a response?
No, I'm focused on the next 2 days.
Do you think you're the future of the Democratic Party?
I don't dare predict the future. That's why I'm out here canvassing to deal with my anxiety.
But by the way, he won't even say that he's going to win. He's like, I don't think about the future. He's already trying to put the election out of his mind. I'm not. Anyone else said, yes, we're going to win. Vote, turn out. We got this. We're going to. No, he won't even predict his own result anymore. He's assuming that he's going to lose. Let me go back though, because he admits he's in a panic.
Do you have a response?
No, I'm focused on the next 2 days.
Do you think you're the future of the Democratic Party?
I don't dare predict the future. That's why I'm out here canvassing to deal with my anxiety to get...
That's why I'm out here canvassing to deal with my anxiety. He won't say he's going to win, and he said anxiety is panic. He's admitted he's having a panic attack, and he can't even say he's going to win. So I'm out here where people recognize me and come up to me so I feel good and deal with my panic attack, my anxiety. Ooh, this is great. Ooh, I hope Mamdani's right that he's going to lose tomorrow. I hope and pray. No, it's too close to call. Right now, based on what we know, this is too close to call. That's exciting. That is so exciting. All right, to the phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Lynn from Boynton.
Hey, Lynn.
Hello,
what's on?
hi.
What's on? By the way, let me just say this. If he is having an anxiety attack because he's losing, how would he handle the stress of a 9/11 terrorist attack? I mean, this guy. This is what an admission that was. That was some raw stuff right there. All right, what's on your mind?
Okay, well, I just wanted to tell you that the Hakeem Jeffries, he's not a Muslim, but he is a Christian via the Baptist congregation. So that's why you hear him quoting the Bible a lot.
What kind of Baptist is named Hakeem?
Well, he may have had somebody in the family, or they may have been trying to make a point, or when the kid was born.
Let me ask you: is he religious Baptist Christian, or is that just like so he can get elected?
I think it's so we can get elected, because he's been in office and doing things for years, Yeah. And I kind of think it got the people, especially in New York, where you have a lot of these type of people with these religions and stuff, and they go, "Ooh, Hakeem," they don't, they just automatically assume that he's with them or whatever. But he's like his own guy, and he I don't think he believes half the stuff he even talks about, But speaking of Muslims, we live in a 55 and over community where usually all the houses are white, and about 5 years ago we started noticing colors on the houses.
By the way, when you say white, you don't mean the people. You mean the color of the homes.
I mean the homes. They're all white neighborhoods. Okay. Yeah, not the people.
Okay.
But, so we noticed about 5 or 6 years ago that a lot of people were putting colors on their houses. So we were like, oh, maybe we can do that now. You can't paint the houses, but your shutters and your doors, maybe.
Yeah.
So we went, and what it was the Muslim religion. Somehow these colors are integrated in that, so they were allowed, if they were Muslims, to do that. So right now in our community, there's, I think, like 2,300 houses. There's probably about 30 Muslim families living here now.
Wow.
And
where are you calling from? Where are you calling from?
Boynton Beach.
What? There's how many Muslims in Boynton Beach?
Yes.
Get out of town.
They're here, but you know what?
Where?
No,
what?
I'm not kidding.
In a 55-plus community?
Yes, and not only that, but they never make trouble. You don't even see them. They're not out there saying, hey, get into our thing, or anything.
Are they like Middle Eastern Muslims or black Muslims?
No, well, they're not black.
Wow.
They're like maybe mid-color. Yeah.
Do they do the call of prayer in your community yet?
They do things like you can go to the clubhouses and have your own things going on there if you want. If you rent the club. Yeah.
What do they do?
And we've never had any. We never had any trouble at all with any of these people, and they're very nice when you meet them. But they don't even go out really.
Okay. Listen, I gotta run, but I'm surprised.
Okay,
Muslims
all right.
in Boynton
Thank
Beach.
you.
Oh my goodness, who would have thought? I want to talk about Life Imaging FLA. You guys know a few weeks ago I had the full body scan and the heart scan, and got all good news. No cancer detected, and my heart is completely clean. No plaque buildup and no blockage. However, well, that is the result of 80% of people who come to Life Imaging FLA. People 80% just like me, healthy, and you get peace of mind. But that means 20% they find something. And in America and around the world, coronary artery disease is the #1 killer. 1/3 of the time, the first event is sudden death. But you know what? This is completely preventable with detection. In the 30 years or so since coronary artery scanning was invented, over 4 million people have died without any warning. Most of them, they could have been saved. In fact, multiple studies show looking inside the body with CT scans can significantly reduce cancer deaths too. And you want to call them. The scan's easy. You don't have to take your clothes off. I wore my jeans, my shirt, didn't even take off my watch. I started to take off it, and they're like, no. And the machine they scan you in is completely open. It's like a little ring. I was surprised. So, I thought I was going to have to get naked and get in a gown and go into one of those machines that make all the loud noises and stuff. And it took just a few minutes. Call Life Imaging FLA. By the way, they have locations in Palm Beach, Broward, and in Miami. Call Life Imaging FLA for your free heart scan now, with a few minimum requirements valued at $699. From your cell, call pound 250 and say free heart scan. That's pound 250 and just say free heart scan. You'll be connected in seconds. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
John, Ohio.
Hey, John, 30 seconds left.
Hey, well, I was just wondering, if Mamdani was a capitalist, would you want to elect him then?
No.
Why is that?
Because he is a radical Muslim. He associates with a known terrorist. He took a picture with an unindicted co-conspirator imam from the First World Trade Center terrorist attack in 1993. He associates with terrorists, and I wouldn't vote for anyone who does that.
Extremists.
What?
All Muslims are extremists.
No, not all Muslims. He is. I talked to Taj earlier. He's Muslim. He's not as extremist. All right, we're out of time for today. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. My name is Brian Craig. God bless Donald Trump. See you tomorrow. All right, we're out of time today, guys. Hey, listen, if you're new, make sure you subscribe. Great calls today. I appreciate that. My name's Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. I'll see you next time. Take care.